The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Westside Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
After a last lap pass in Daytona, these drivers and teams packed up their haulers and headed coast to coast. Welcome to California, ladies and gentlemen, for the second Continental Endurance Sports Car Series race of the season at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. This is live sim racing presented by the Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Trevor Cameron, and I'll be your guide for the next 2.5 hours of multi-class racing action around the dusty up-and-down course here in Monterey, California. Up here in the booth with me, I have Sean Ambrose covering the Street Tuner Class MX-5s and Bill Soupzon watching the Grand Sport Class Ford Mustang FR500S cars. Back behind the curtain, making sure you never miss any of the on-screen action, we have our director, Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Laguna Seca is a drastically different course than we were at when these guys last tackled Daytona last month. Sean, what can you tell us about what these drivers are going to be facing here tonight?
Well, you know what they're going to be facing. One thing a lot different than Daytona is the elevation changes here as they get around 11 turns, a little over 2 miles, 2.238 miles to be exact. We'll do 2.5 hours, 150 minutes. You know, the 11 turns are really tricky. They say 11. Some of these are really just kinks, but the Andretti hairpin, just after they get things started, the start of this race will be fun going down into turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. But man, where you're really going to see a lot of the action is on the backside of this track, coming out of what they call turn 6 in the Rahal Straight. A lot of runoff area there to the left and to the right. A lot of passing opportunities up the hill into that famous corkscrew where you got to go downhill around Rainy Curve and set yourself up to make a hard left-hander in the 11 up across the start-finish line. But I'll tell you what, I could talk about it all day long. We'll let GSRC's own Giancarlo Lenzi take you around the track real quick for a lap.
All right, we've got Giancarlo Lenzi in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Laguna Seca. Coming across the start-finish line, we hit turn 1, which isn't much of a turn so much it is a place to set your car up for the Andretti hairpin. And honestly, the hairpin is probably your best opportunity for a pass on the whole course. It's a big, heavy braking zone, but watch out. With it being downhill, it's easy to overshoot the first apex. Get the car turned and try to get the power down before you glance that second apex. Then before you know it, you gotta swing the car to the left to set up for 3. This turn feels like it tightens on exit, so be careful not to get on the power too early. From there, it's just a little lift into 4, but this kink is extremely important. If you lose your speed on the exit, you might be vulnerable down into turn 5. It's not the best place for an overtake, but that doesn't stop guys from trying. Now, as you head into this uphill left-hander, it's gonna be critical to carry your momentum in the little MX-5. You certainly don't want to be too wide as you head into the notorious turn 6. It's going to be a light brush on the brakes, then snag the apex just right and let her track out. You can expect drivers who get this corner wrong to pay dearly. Once again, we continue to climb uphill, so momentum is key. Hold left and cross over to give yourself a nice straight braking zone into the corkscrew. Here the track absolutely disappears and you're going on memory of where the edges of the course are. If you manage to hit it right, you're thrown immediately into Rainy Curve. This long plunging turn has a very late apex, so swing it wide then cut in. From there, you'll switch sides once more and try your best to use the banking of turn 10 to really carry your speed. After that, you approach the final hairpin of turn 11. This is another good place to attempt to pass, but you gotta be sneaky and catch your opponent off guard. Just be careful because the long run means they could pull an over-under on you. From there, it's just a matter of accelerating up the hill and finishing your lap around Laguna Seca.
And that is one lap around Laguna Seca Raceway here in slightly brighter times. As you can tell, we are in the late afternoon here, so the visibility won't be quite as good as we had in that lap guide there. But since we're only into our second race of this season, we do have some championship points that have occurred and we're going to be talking about here. And we have, there are driver points and there are car points here. So here to give you an update as to what to look out for in this race, as to who's where in the standings. I throw it over to you, Bill.
Okay, after one race, the team championship and the driver championship was pretty synchronized because obviously if there's two drivers in a car, they're going to be pretty locked together in the point standings. Now that'll change as the series goes along and drivers do a little shuffling and team cars are stocked by a committee format. So let's start by looking at the team championship, and this is going to be for the Mustangs. A couple Bushfink cars to look at there. First, we're going to start with Team Bushfink Racing Blue, and that has the impressive tandem of Mika Eschhaus and James King leading that car to victory last race. Now, Extreme Motorsports, manned by Kevin Ford and Patrick Bieri, are in second place. And then we go to the other Bushfink team, the red team. That was manned by Craig Parks and Greg Williams. Go down to 49 Motorsports there it's Flying Tortoise there. It's 48 back there. That's right. That's the number 95 machine. That was Russell Ruddick and Travis Davis. Then we go down to the 049 machine of 49 Motorsports, manned by Dexter Castro and Christopher Henn. Now, if we jump over to the Drivers' Championship, pretty much you're going to see the same guys, Eschwitz, King up there, Ford, Bieri up there. The only difference is going to be Jeff Jacobs, who soloed that machine. So you're going to see him in third place in the Drivers' Championship for the GS class. Now let's go over to the ST class for points. And up there, you're going to have Asbury. You're going to have Asbury Motorsports up there, 1 and 2 positions there. So the 426 machine, and that's the impressive tandem of Sonny Ketchen and Thomas Szabo, and they're both back here today, teaming up again. So look for that 426 machine to be the car to beat tonight. The 74 machine, also of Asbury Motorsports, that was manned by Richard Losper and Travis Schwenke, but they're not here today. I think Schwenke is going to come back in that car again, but I think it's going to be Tom Ratchey or John Deuce. I think it's Tom Ratchey is going to team up on that one today. Then we go down to the pair of 49 Motorsports machines there, and the first one was manned by Justin Hill and Robert Hartley. That's the number 47 machine. Then the number 63 machine there is Justin Hilly and Robert Hartley teamed up on that one. Then finally the last team down there, it's Phoenix Racing, sorry. Phoenix Racing in 5th position. We go over to the Drivers' Championship. Again, they're going to kind of match up the same way as we saw before. Ketchen and Szabo up on top. Now, here's a driver that soloed last time. Giuseppe Iannucci. I love saying that name. We don't know much about him. We know he's from New York. I imagine that he owns a pizzeria. I sure hope he comes into the interview and sets me straight. He's probably like a rocket scientist. Richard Losper and Travis Schwenke round out the top 5 there with 38 points. Okay, back to you, Trip.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. So we're going to be watching some of those drivers out here trying to see if they can increase their leads, or if some new faces are going to come in here and maybe take that single race point lead away from some of those teams and drivers. We got a couple things we're going to watch here tonight. If you guys caught us on the last broadcast, that finish to that race was really exciting, with the end result being a last lap pass and a finish of less than, or actually it was 0.025 seconds between first and second place when that race finished. So hopefully we'll see some of that excitement here again. But speaking of excitement, there is a lot less room here at Daytona, as Sean mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, that they're not going to be seeing as much space out there as we saw in the race at Daytona. I mean, this place has all the elevation changes. There are some blind corners. And, here's something that occurred to me when I was Chad Dalton, who's out there, was talking about last night on our podcast, is the fact that these Fords are so huge and these MX-5s are so small. We kind of saw it at Daytona, but there's a couple turns here, specifically the end of the corkscrew, where, because of that elevation change, you could probably lose a Mazda down there. I'm wondering if we're going to see any contact when they come up on the slightly slower cars. But speaking of that corkscrew, I mean, that is something to watch for here. I mean, that corner is so challenging to get through because, if you go too slow, you're going to get run over. If you go too fast, you're going to end up off in the dirt. And, if you're lucky, you're going to end up in the dirt and not into a wall. So it's going to be interesting here. These guys are also, as we mentioned last week, they have changed over from the old style MX-5s. They are now going to be moving into the new 2016 model, brand new, helped designed by iRacing themselves. These cars are supposedly a blast to drive. So we'll see how these guys transition over into this new style car, if it's going to cause them any problems at all. And also talking around the garage there, it looks like the MX-5s, they're, as we talked about last race, these they do a fuel limiting strategy with these cars in order to force them to go into the pits a little bit more often. And the new MX-5s are going to be limited to 65% fuel. I think it was 75 before, but I'm not positive on that. But in order to accommodate these new style cars, but hearing from the garage guys, it sounds like the tires don't last a full fuel run, or at least they get really slippery about halfway through. So we're gonna have to watch for that and see if guys are going to be short pitting for tires and not wait until that gas tank runs empty here. Other than that, one more thing is that we only had one yellow flag at Daytona. As we mentioned, these guys have live race marshals in here, and they're going to throw a caution if, a caution is warranted. If there is a huge crash, if the track is blocked, if there's a car abandoned out there, or, trapped and can't get back to the pits. We only had that happen one time, and that was really early in the Daytona race. And this is a 2.5-hour race, and this track, I'm kind of expecting a lot more yellow flags around here because, it's a trickier course. There's a lot more turns. It's going to be harder for the slower cars to get out of the way of the faster cars. And the time difference isn't that big here as it was at Daytona because we don't have those big, long straight stretches. So I kind of expect to see these cars, the Fords and the Mazdas, kind of together really close. So any thoughts here? We're getting close to the end of qualifying here there, Sean. Any thoughts moving into this race?
Yeah, several about this new car. I mean, you talked about the tires a little bit. The car is a little bit faster. I mean, overall, I think we're talking maybe as much as 2 seconds in some scenarios. So definitely, you talk about closing the gap on the Mustangs. Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing them race, certainly as the Mustangs start to make their way through and as they race with the traffic. So many spots here to get racy and get side by side. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't take much to make a mistake. And you talked about the sand early. These sandy hills here in California gets pretty dusty and pretty slick out there. It doesn't take much to get the car going around. Talk about getting down through that corkscrew. If you want to see a yellow flag, it might be down through there. The start of this race going down into the hairpin. Baby, that's going to be hot. I can't wait to see that battle down in the big turn there, the hairpin. That's going to be an exciting start to this race.
Yeah, that hairpin, it's a turn that starts and then just keeps going and just keeps getting more and more severe as you go into it there. Speaking of the start here, Bill, I mean, we have the two classes of cars, but these guys do things a little bit unique with them, kind of splitting the startup. How do you think that's going to affect, what we see at the very, very beginning of this race here?
I think these guys are pretty experienced. Now, it's only the second race, so you'll have a couple new guys that won't know what's going on. These guys are pretty good at laying back a little bit, spreading it out. One of the things that they've been working on that I think the real issue will be is yellow flags, getting the cars sorted by class and getting the wave arounds done. They want to try to do that efficiently. So that'll be an issue, especially for some of the new guys trying to follow directions, because the guys here at the Continental Endurance Series, they like to try to mimic real-world racing as much as they can, as we're getting very close to going to the grid. So they like to get those wave arounds. Sometimes you get stuck behind the pace car. They got to get that all straightened out, but the race stewards are pretty experienced about it. I don't think we're going to see quite the one yellow flag that we had last time, but I don't think it's going to be too bad today, Sean.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, listen, this is a very, very stacked field of talent, some of the best on iRacing, some of the best racing, period. So, yeah, I think they'll settle down, and let's face it, there's a lot of experience on this course. This is a well-traveled circuit here on iRacing, and I think we're going to see a really great race, and I think the new power of the MX-5 will be a factor. I think the Mustangs are going to have a little bit of trouble, a little bit of fight on their hands. It's going to be very racy out here today. Got perfect track conditions too for horsepower and just good track conditions overall.
And for those guys who are watching the earlier broadcast here, it was the MX5 World Tour was at the same track. It was during the afternoon, but you can see the beautiful late shadows here today in this late afternoon sunshine that iRacing provides.
Yeah, it certainly is a pretty scene. I've seen several races with this new lighting model where they go to this, and it does look pretty for sure. Looking down at the track, looks like they're getting ready to grid up here. Yep, there we go. So we are getting ready to hit the grid and get these guys underway. So this is going to be pretty exciting here for sure. And I'm just waiting for the cars to hit the grid as they. There we go. I was waiting for cars to start appearing. But anyway, starting in the first position, we have Extreme Motorsports 2 with a nice qualifying time, 1:32.127. Extreme Motorsports 1 is finishing in second place. We got team cars up there. Team Bushfink Racing Blue starts in third position. 49 Motorsports B, or Bravo as I like to say, starting in fourth. Team Bushfink Racing Red in fifth, and Flying Tortoise Motorsports in sixth. Who's starting in seventh there, Sean?
That's going to be Slow Johnson Racing starting in seventh, and in eighth, iRacing Today Motorsports. In ninth, Team Potato NA North America. And in 10th, that's going to be Asbury Motorsports, number 74. And we'll move on to 11th place. And that is going to be Mama Jean Racing in 11th place and 49 Motorsports A in 12th place. Bill?
And then in 13th, I'm going to go with 49 Motorsports C, and I believe that's going to be the 4th car in that class. Asbury Motorsports going to be outside of them. We go back to Team Potato then in the 15th spot, and Mama Jean Racing making up the 17th. Then the finals 4 spots there are going to go to Phoenix Racing, Whole World Endurance, Heat and Bake Racing. Boy, I tell you, you put Team Potato with Heat and Bake, I like that. And then Extreme Motorsports in rounding out your 20th spot there.
Yeah, and looking at the times here, guys, I mean, we saw a very lot of difference between these guys at Daytona because of those long straights, but the times here really aren't that big of a difference. I mean, looking down, and iRacing Today Motorsports with Chad Dalton there, who's starting in 8th, they're less than a second faster than the fastest MX car there with Team Potato North America. So the time difference is not that extreme. So I think we're going to see a lot more traffic when it comes down to it than we saw at Daytona.
Yeah, that was a pretty great time that Team Potato North America put up there, a 1:35.579. Not much difference, just a little less than a second there off of iRacing Today Motorsports in the Mustang. So, yeah, that new MX-5, pretty quick little car, and Team Potato doing a great job of putting that on the pole.
We have Jeff Jacobs, I believe, is going to be in the... Is he going to be in the Extreme Motorsports machine? Is that the driver that's sitting out there on the pole? I believe it is in that Mustang.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff is definitely in there, and as these guys are making their way around, I mean, all hats off to these guys. I mean, because some of these turns are really tricky, and in these Fords, which don't like to stop and turn a lot. At least that's been my experience. Maybe I just need to be a bit heavier on the brake pedal, but I've always found these guys kind of drive like a bit like a tank. A fast tank without a gun, but a tank nonetheless. So hats off to these guys to get through that corkscrew and all that stuff with nice and clean here.
Something to point out, Richard Eklund driving for 49 Motorsports. He's an MX-5 specialist. Unusual to see him in a Mustang now. It's kind of like he's used to wearing tennis shoes. They've got him in the dress shoes there. Let's see what kind of dancing he can do today.
Let's see if he cleans up nice. All right, coming through and on to the front stretch as we get ready to go green. Green flag is out. And looks like we have... looks like Jeff is maintaining that lead as they head down to that first turn. Here's where things are going to get a little bit tight. These guys are still 2x2, avoiding all those cones on the side here. Nice and orderly start by these Ford Mustangs. Oh, we have some contact in second and third position there.
That was Mika Mika S. House got into the side of, I guess it was Eklund, maybe. It was Ford. Got into Ford.
All right, back to the ST cars as they come by for their green flag, and cones are flying. And who's that leading there, Bill? I know you like to say that name.
Iannucci's in the lead. He started on the pole. He's off to a great start. Gets the jump. They're side by side just behind him. That's a rush down into the turn. Everybody's starting to file in. Nose to tail, single file. Here we go.
It looks like the MX has started a little bit more orderly than we saw with the Fords, by the looks of it.
Yeah, they did. They got off to a really good start there, and the trouble ahead of them obviously didn't affect their start. They threw the green just in time to avoid all that. Iannucci almost getting that car off into the dirt there as he came through the turn. But again, off to a great start. But here they come. He's got Justin Hill right behind him.
Now, looking back up to the front of the Fords, there wasn't it S House that was in in that initial contact here, and he is right on the leader's tail. So obviously, it did not cost him any time on the track.
No, it's got to be making Kevin Ford a little wondering what happened there, because Ford's car is really damaged. He's dropped back to last, and now he's come into the pits. So obviously, Ford got the worst of that. S-House doing a good job now taking a peek there on Jacobs. Now, Jacobs' job is just to keep that car on the track. He really doesn't need to battle for position. All he needs to be able to do is keep that there till he can turn it over to Todd Honsarenko, who is a real hot shoe. Jeff Jacobs is kind of minding the store until the parents get home.
That is an interesting analogy for sure, but looks like our top three are...
Ooh, Iannucci off in the dirt here. Here comes Hill on around him, guys. Iannucci doing a great job of saving the car. He got off to the left and into the dirt and did everything he could to collect it, but he's going to get past, give up that lead now. He'll hang on.
And now Iannucci soloed it last time, but he has two drivers that are associated. James Brown is going to be with him, and Nicholas Thomas is going to be there. Thomas.
Drees Nye's the big mover right now. He moved up to second. He's picking it up just a bit, putting a little bit of pressure on Iannucci.
Sean, from what I saw as we're watching there, as we're looking at Zabel, from what I saw from the earlier race today, this is the 45-minute race in these MX-5s, the tires just go away so much more than they did in the old machine. So it'll be interesting to watch lap times here and pit strategy, how they do that. I'd be surprised if they don't take 4 tires every time they come in. Maybe those going to cost them time.
Big battle into the hairpin. They're scrambling. Boy, those cars look really good, man. They're they're really flying around here right now. Iannucci still putting on quite a show up front.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get away from Justin Hill, and I mean, it looked like he was going to give up the lead there, but he's still heading out of the pack here, and actually doesn't have too far to go before he's up to Scott Brooks in the Mama Jean racing Ford Mustang there. Their guys aren't too far back from him right now, so.
No, the top 6 here really keeping it pretty close. Heading down through the corkscrew. Everybody keeping it nice and tight. Nobody running off yet. Tell you what, there's really good grip through there right now. I hope that holds up throughout the race, but it'll be interesting to see about 10 laps in what these tires are going to do.
Yeah, definitely. Like we were saying there, I mean, those tires, if they fall away, like Bill mentioned there, then those times are going to start falling down.
Let's go to the lead for the Mustangs here, as now we have That's Mika Eshouse making a move on the outside. It looks like he's going to get this done over Jeff Jacobs. Look at these cars 2 by 2 now, making a move from 4th position, coming all the way back from the back, now tucked in on the inside. Moving up there is Craig Williams. A great run from him for Team Bush Fink Red. Moves that car up into 2nd position, and they're still fighting back there. Now Jacobs has fallen out of the lead. He drops all the way back to 4th place. Again, that's fine as long as he keeps the car clean. Eklund now for 49 Motorsports B drops into 3rd position, but your new leader, Mika Eshouse. Now watch him start to run away with this thing.
Yeah, I was watching Jeff there, and it looked like Mika stopped a little bit sooner than he was expecting. It almost made some contact there, but I think he got away with that okay.
Yeah, I think Jeff was probably the slowest of the 4 cars, even though he was out in front. And now I think they pretty much got it sorted out in order of speed per driver. So S-House, Craig Williams up there, and I'd love to see this Mustangs, the new tire smoke on the car. So exciting. Craig Williams up there for Team Bush Fink Red. And Team Bush Fink Blue, so you have blue ahead of red.
Well, guys, back here in the ST class, things are still just rolling along. Iannucci showing the way. Justin Hill is settled in. He was getting a little racy, a little impatient, and decided to back off, maybe take care of the tires just a bit. Really don't want to overdrive it right now. Still so much time left in this race. Early days, but it is just a 2-car battle up front. Rest of the field behind him starting to spread out just a bit. I think everybody is just kind of in wait and see and conserve a little bit mode, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did have that practice this afternoon here, but we mentioned this is a new car to these guys. You know, overall, obviously they've had some practice, but this is the first time this series has seen these particular 2016 race cars here. So there's probably a bit of uncertainty, especially with a 2.5-hour race here.
Now Thomas Zabo and Dries Nice. Oh, contact.
I see
the
Chris Hewson is off.
We'll look at that replay. Zabo made a little contact with Dries Nice there. Here we go. Looking on screen. Yeah, he hit the curb there and just lost it. Self-spin. Doesn't get anybody else involved.
Oh,
Definitely going to cost them time.
But time can be made up, but damage is another thing where, that's going to cost you a lot more. So he was lucky not to hit anything, but that kind of gives, we were talking about how slick this course can be, and he just made one small mistake and hit that little bit of red curb there, and that was enough to send that car around.
Looking up here at a great battle. It's cooled off just a little bit. Give it a second. Eklund will be back there. You're looking there at Craig Williams. He's leading. This is 2nd position now. S-House is checked out, so we're not going to worry about him for a while. But look at this battle with Williams. The guy who's losing patience right now because he can see Mika start to pull away is Richard Eklund running in 3rd. He's looking for anywhere to get around Williams. He's been pestering him. He's been left of him. He's been right of him. He just can't find the spot, but he is definitely faster. They come down into the corkscrew now. Let's see what kind of bite. Oh, Eklund gets a little bit loose there. He gets a bad exit out of the corkscrew as they go through Rainey. Now they have the right-hander and then the left-hander that leads back onto the main straight. Let's see what Eklund can do if he can run him down. He lost a lot of time out of that corkscrew. These are much heavier cars than Richard's used to driving, but he's doing a pretty good job. Let's see what kind of bite he gets off here. As you can see, a little smoke from the tires there of Williams. Eklund now has dropped back. Not going to be able to get him this time. They're beginning to distance themselves from Jeff Jacobs. And when we come back next time, then we'll run through the rest of those Mustangs back there. There's not a large field. We'll give you updated on how the rest of those guys are doing.
Oh, but yeah, Richard is definitely looks like he's out breaking him for sure. But, it looks like Williams might be getting a better drive often. That's what's keeping him ahead of Eklund for right now, but I don't think it's going to be for too much longer.
Now he's back. Now he's back here. He just lost all that time on the corner at the exit of the corkscrew. Now he's back.
Oh, looks like he was just showing a little bit of intent on the inside there, but decided to back off a little bit here as they go up the hill. And looking on the inside again. Is he going to? No, he backs down, decides he doesn't want to go side by side into that corner. And let's see what they do going through the corkscrew here.
Now, Sean, the philosophy is always a little different when you know you have a partner behind there. At least for me, if you're driving just by yourself, you only have yourself to blame. It's a little less painful if you crash the car. But he knows he's got Dexter Castro, the team captain. That's like having Roger Penske ready to race after you. You don't want to turn over a damaged car to Dexter Castro.
Yeah, you don't want to upset the boss, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you want to bring that car home clean for sure. I'll tell you what, I'm still watching this race very, very closely here in the ST class. Giuseppe Iannucci, we could call him the hot potato, if you will, or the hot gnocchi. I don't know, but he is really just looks so strong right now. Nice trip through the car. Oh, Justin Hill. Oh, makes a mistake. I put the curse on him, Bill. I'm sorry, but Justin Hill takes advantage. Oh, watch out. More almost contact there. Iannucci can't hang on to it. 3 wide, heading down to the last turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with Iannucci there. He took a weird line going through the corkscrew there, and that just messed up all his momentum.
Szabo, the big victor there. Iannucci on him right now, though. They're side by side. We're looking at the replay, I know.
Well,
going back live here. Iannucci trying to make the move on the outside. Szabo hanging in there. Side by side. Oh, a little bit of contact. Rubbin's racing, baby. Racing. There goes that potato. The flying potato is going.
Woo. Szabo not giving up. Hats off to Iannucci for fighting back. Yes, there's a rare breed of drivers who can get around this. Now look at this guy back there. As Szabo's in the battle too. Schwenke in the hunt.
Yeah, and Tree's nice right there, teammate. Here comes the other potato car.
Cool, that is an interesting line he's taken into that corner, and that puts him a little bit wide as they go up the hill towards the corkscrew. Oh my goodness. Guys, we're 17 minutes into a 2.5-hour race here. What are you doing?
Justin Hill I'll tell you what, guys, really gets a chance with all that racing back there to open it up on him. He really has gapped them nicely. Got his own little race going on up there. As he heads into turn 11, he's going to be your leader. Justin Hill in the 49 Motorsports A car. Got a 4-car battle behind him, but man, they got a ways to go.
Yeah, he's got to like what he's seeing out that rear view mirror right now and seeing just a lot of empty space so he can just hit his lines and not worry about anybody coming up on him anymore for at least a little bit here.
Yeah, hit his lines. That's exactly what you said. He's got to hit his lines. He's got to hit those marks and, watch this dusty track. It'll reach up and grab you and bite you, man.
Oh, actually, watching Justin there, he was just a little bit sideways coming out of the corner here. No harm, no foul, but he's definitely putting all he can to get that gap as big as he can while those guys fight it out behind him.
Looking at a battle there that just resolved itself, it was Chad Dalton there. He was ahead of Russell Ruddock. Ruddock driving for the Flying Tortoise team, and Dalton racing for iRacing Today Motorsports. Ruddock just got around and moved up into 5th position. Chad Dalton dropping back to 6th. I also want to update you that finally Richard Eklund was able to close the deal there and get around Craig Williams. So Eklund now beginning to distance himself ahead of Williams, seeing if he can run down S-House, who's out in front, as the Mustangs now begin to get into some lap traffic here, Sean.
All right, here we got something going on with Drew. Yeah, it looks like Drew might got around. Look at the replay here real quick and see what happened. Yeah, he was getting ready to come up the hill there, and the car got loose on him, broke around. Able to get away clean. That's a good job. Good car control there, not letting it get too far off in the dirt and slide off.
Don't worry, Mama Jean. He's okay. He's still out there.
That is so easy to do, though, coming up that corner, because, I mean, with the elevation changes, these cars can get upset so easily where, you don't have all the tires getting all the grip that they can, and then you try to make it do more than it wants to, and all of a sudden the car says, nope, I'm going off into the dirt for a little bit.
Got an interesting situation here. Is Kevin Ford? Oh, he surrenders it. Kevin Ford just gave up the lap to Mika Eshouse. Would have been to his advantage to try to stay on the lead lap, although he will get a wave around here, or the lucky dog, I believe, in this series. But Ford now has fallen a lap down since that early first lap incident. Now the guys are coming.
Oh, looking at Travis Schwenke, looks like he may have spun here.
Yes, he did. Yeah, now he didn't have anybody behind him. He was at the tail end of that battle just in front. But you see here on the replay, it comes down, it gets maybe a little bit too much of the curb. This new car does not like the curb at all. Not at all, Trevor. And you saw it there on screen, just a little bit too much. He hit that red berm and up and over and around it went.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about it during the pre-race show here, but apparently about halfway through a fuel run, about 30 minutes in, these tires apparently get a little bit slick and slippery, and we're at the 21-minute mark here, so I wonder if we're beginning to see some of that with those MX-5s.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, the leader's certainly not making it look that way, but you see those disc brakes, man, starting to glow. That means the tires are hot, too, so that's not a good condition. I'm certainly... I believe you are
correct. Around again.
Jerome is around again here.
And he just, our leader, Mika Eshouse, had to get around him. It was fine. He did manage to do it okay.
He's having a tough time out there in that Mama Jean racing MX-5, but he keeps the fenders on her, and I guess that's the most important thing when it comes down to it.
Well, you're definitely right about that. You want to keep the fenders on it because there is a lot of time left.
Like I said, we're seeing some great racing here, and like I said, I keep reminding myself, we are 22 minutes into a 2.5-hour race. We are barely cracking the surface of this thing, yet these guys are racing for all they're worth out there. This is some great action we've seen so far here, guys.
Yeah, the battle for second back here in ST is really good right now. Iannucci still in second, recovered well from that little bit of trouble here a few laps ago. But Szabo really doing a good job of keeping the pressure on. And Dries Nyes right back there just trying to keep the car under him. I think that car is starting to loosen up just a little bit. He got off maybe just a hair there coming out of 11. So a good battle going on. These cars are definitely still burning down some really good laps. But maybe just about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds from where they were when we started this race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, like we mentioned at the beginning there, if these guys are going to short pit for tires, if they decide that, you know what, I don't care. My tank's still got fuel in it. I need some rubber on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. If you're talking that much of a difference, a couple seconds a lap.
Making a move right there. Szabo to the inside. In the GSRC, Asbury Motorsports number 74, Szabo with a move to take second place. Iannucci off, just behind him there. Dries Nyes now starting to pick up a little bit of ground on Iannucci. Heading down through the corkscrew, here we go. Everybody to hang on, you just hold your breath down through there when you're watching it. They make it down through Rainey pretty clean. It's a good 3-car battle right there, guys.
Yeah, and Iannucci here has a teammate behind him, so he knows he's going to be cut at least a little bit of slack. At least I'd assume so. If things get a little bit hairy there, but always good to have a teammate watching your back as opposed to a competitor.
And Szabo with a great run off of 11 there. I mean, he really put the power down. Hit a little bit of dirt, got some smoke off of those tires, and he was off to the races. Here he goes down into the Andretti hairpin. Szabo with a really nice line down through there. Team Potato just on his heels, though, guys. this is going to be the battle to watch here for a while. The leader has gotten away.
Yeah, looking back at those Mustangs, looks like, hey, Bill, looks like they might be coming up on some of those MX-5s now, and I wonder how that's going to play out.
Yeah, they're spread out nicely. Now, I want to give you some times here. S-House has about a 3.5-second lead over Eklund. Let's make a note here that Jacobs has actually gotten around Williams now. So Williams, who was running up there in second, Eklund got around him. Now Jacobs has got around him. So Williams back to fourth. Let me run back the rest of this Mustang field that we haven't talked much about then. We go down to fifth position. It's Russell Ruddick running for Flying Tortoise Motorsports. He's got about a 2.5-second lead on Craig Dalton. Now Dalton has already got around Daniel Kruger there in the MX-5. You go back a little bit to George Johnson. I love George Johnson and Slow Johnson Racing running in 7th position, having a good job back there. We go back to Mama Jean Racing running back there in 8th position. Scott Brooks had a bad race at Daytona, doing much better opening up here, currently running in 8th position, still on the lead lap. And then finally, as he's still out on the track, we find Kevin Ford. He's 1 lap down, running in 9th position, just trying to stay out there and get some points. So, yep, they're coming up on the MX-5s here. We'll go right up here with Mika right now. He's got ahead of him Houston. There's a little battle going on for 15th and 16th between Houston and Alex Brown, or Houston, and is it Alex Brown, I guess? There goes Mika on the inside, makes short work of Chris. And now that Mustang should put the power down, maybe gobble him up here.
Yeah, Drew got to be careful. Tricky spot of the track to get caught, Bill.
You know, Sean, you go down so quickly through the corkscrew, at least for me. You lose so much elevation through the corkscrew and then the following corners through rainy. It feels like 90% of the track I'm going uphill here. You know what I mean? It's like uphill, 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 uphill. Then all of a sudden it's all down.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Ray Hall straight is anything but straight, right? I mean, it's off to the left and uphill, and yeah, and Jeroen able to get out of the way there, give way. Ruddick gets around without any problem. Tell you what, up front, Nesty, Justin Hill, they're catching up, guys. Starting to close the gap just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like those guys aren't quite battling it out as hard as they were before, and that's allowing them to close that gap up a lot. I wonder if they decide, you know what, that's the leader up there. Why are we fighting amongst each other here? Let's go up there and catch up, and then we can fight. You know, let's make it 4 wide when we go there. We'll have a chance to do that if we work together here a little bit.
Well, Szabo, a hot shoe, man, and I'll tell you what. Now that he has put Team Potato behind him, he is really ripping off some good laps here, and again, able to give just start to put a little bit of pressure on Hill. We're almost 30 minutes in. Cars are getting a little bit lighter. Tires are starting to get really hot, a little greasy, and I could see where maybe Hill is starting to feel the effects of that. But yeah, Szabo doing a really good job around this track right now.
Actually, we were talking about a little bit of fall off there, but Hill just put in his best lap of the race so far. That last lap, he was slower the last 2 laps before that, but that last lap was his fastest of the race. So I don't think he's feeling the effects of the tire fall off too bad at all.
Yeah, I'll try to put this politely, and my apologies to the friends and families of Andre Saunders, Justin Hill's teammate. Certainly a quality driver and serviceable, as Richard Losper would like to say. But when it comes to a comparison between Hill's teammate Andre Saunders and Szabo's teammate of Sonny Ketchen, boy, it's Ketchen's going to gobble that time up. So I think Hill's out there trying to get as much distance, make up as much time possible, so he can outlast the Sonny Ketchen onslaught that's going to be coming. And I would imagine, Sean, because of the time difference, it's late. It's really, really late for Szabo in Hungary right now. I imagine he's going to race this and go to bed, and then the Australian driver's going to come in and finish out the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. I think that's a pretty good call there, Bill. But, again, Szabo doing a pretty good job right now of starting to get a little space between him and 3rd and 4th place. And, working on the lead just a little bit, maybe not too much, but definitely keeping it close, and then he gets to hand it over to Kanch, and it could be lights out after that. That car looks awful strong today.
And Trevor, with this being a two-stop race, it really breaks into 3 stints, if not more. Like you talked about, they might come in early for tires, and I think that may actually happen. But a lot of times the drivers will do the opening leg, sit out a leg, and then come back and run the anchor. So we may see Hill back again to close this thing out.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I'm looking back at Craig Williams and Jeff Jacobs there. They are, we thought that Craig was going to fall back a bit, but he hasn't. He is right with them, and they have just come up on a couple of MX cars as well. So we got a big old knot of cars going on right now, going into the corner.
Oh, look at Williams giving a little love tap to Jacobs. Let's go, Jeff. Jeff's saying, I'm trying to negotiate around these little pesky MX-5s. Give me a break. I got Alex Brown ahead of me. Let me take care of this, and we'll get back to racing here in a minute. Alex, where are you going to go? Alex comes across. Jacobs and that Mustang going to slow down as he catches him in the corkscrew. The little MX-5 pulls away through the downhill section. Jacobs nowhere to go. Craig Williams back there looking for a spot to get around.
Wow. I mean, and hats off to Brown there. I mean, he's holding his own. He's holding his line. It's like, you know what? You guys had to make your way around me. I'm racing my race here.
Then he pulls over. Then he goes, James Alex Brown, absolutely no problem with that. Through the technical section, you just stay on your line. Let them find a way around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And wait for the straight stretch and let them get by safe.
You start being polite, and Sean, that's when bad things happen.
Man, I can't tell you how many times I've done that, where I tried to be a nice guy because I knew I was a lot slower, and you just wind up messing it up every time, man. It never works out. Never.
Oh man, I have teammates who were, as I was learning to become a better road racer, and they would be on TeamSpeak, and every time I try to let somebody by in the corner, they would just yell at me. It's like, do not do that. It's like, just hold your line. It's like, yeah, but they caught me in the corner. It's like, no, keep your line, wait for the straight stretch. It's like, okay, I'm sorry.
And we do a series called the Audubon series, and that's a great series. If you guys ever want to tune into that, they're on Monday nights. And one of the things they talk about, that's a multi-class series where the slower cars complain about the faster cars peaking. They say, don't peak. If you're not going to take the corner, then don't peak down there, because then the slower classes will leave the corner open and ends up they both miss the apex. So there's a lot of negotiation that goes on with body language here. And I wonder, Sean, I'm not familiar. Do the Mustangs have the flashing? They do not. So that's one of the things that some of the new cars have. No flashing headlights on the Mustangs.
Yeah, we got to see that in the Pacific Majors for the first time. I got to see it actually used there last weekend, and it's a pretty cool feature. I think the Fords actually might be online to get it in the next patch, but they don't have it as of yet. So for now, they're just going to have to frantically wave their hands in their home cockpits and hope that they can see it over the internet.
Haven't done a night race yet with those headlights. That'll really be fun to see.
Okay, our leader getting around Al Heaton in the Heaton Bake racing car. Justin Hill racing car. I can't believe I just said that. Justin Hill getting around and doing it with ease. He's still on it. Car looks good. I got to admit, guys, he's taking pretty good care of it.
Yeah, and I was just watching Zabo there. He came up on the slower car and almost nailed him when we went to go around him.
Oh, Schwenke has lost it, boys. Just does not look good for him.
Yeah, looking at it on the replay here, he gets loose.
Oh,
it's just, man, that was a hard hit. Lots of damage on that Mazda. Go back live, but man, that was just he's trying to get it around. That's just got to be a handful to drive right now. The right front just dragging on that thing.
Yeah, that's not going to work out too good. You go around that corner, your car's upset anyway, and then you start driving on the dirt. That's a recipe for disaster right there, and unfortunately, he paid the price.
Travis going to try and get it into the pit. Going to be real careful.
I could hear the moan I can hear the moan from Richard Losper watching in Australia right now. Richard usually is behind the wheel there of that machine, teamed up with Schwenke. Not racing today, watching the broadcast. I can hear the moan from around the globe. Also, the Bay St. Hammer, Tom Ratchie, scheduled to race that machine. Not sure if that... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, a very happy Easter to Richard Glosper and his friends and family as they are celebrating right now.
I don't think they have Easter bunnies. I think they have Easter kangaroos there in Australia.
That is a question that must be asked. We'll have to table that for an interview. Maybe we can ask Sonny.
Sonny might know.
Well, at least Travis Schwenke answered one question that I had with these new MX-5s. Yes, they do indeed model the engine in those cars, because you can see it quite plainly with the hood no longer part of that vehicle anymore.
Probably a little discussion going on now between him and Tom Ratchie. Are we going to get this thing fixed, bring this back out, or are we done?
That was a hard hit. I can't imagine that they're going to be able to fix that to any semblance of order at this point in time.
No,
Tom, get yourself another cup of clam chowder.
Yeah, that's
Boston. I think you're good.
Car's going to be there for a while, boys. Tell you what, Zabo's turned up the wick just a bit. Just a bit. He's got that down to just under 2 seconds. And, Iannucci just continues to fight, man. Every now and then he makes just a small mistake, loses a little bit of ground, but he comes back on the next lap and closes that battle on Szabo, doing a really good job of keeping it close. But again, Szabo got that under 2 seconds, now just under a second and a half. He is closing on our leader, Justin Hill.
And looking back at the Mustangs there, Bill, looks like Craig Williams has made it around Jeff Jacobs. He was hounding him. And looking at the front of that car, it looks like the right front fender is a little bit bumped in. Oh, we're going back to replay. Looks like Dries has had a bit of a moment here. We'll check it out on the replay.
Dries coming down through the corkscrew, loses it right in front of the leader.
I think he got a little nose into the tires there, John.
Well, we'll look at it on the replay. And there's S-House. See Dries' knees. Dries' knives there. He just gets loose, man. Maybe he was shifting right there or something, but the car broke around, and you're right, Bill. He got just a little bit of the barrier, got a little bit of left front damage.
I don't know, guys. I'm looking down the pits here. That looks like a little bit more than a little bit.
More than a little, huh? And I think maybe we should tell the viewers, I think they probably caught on when we were talking about the damage to Schwenke and him being done. This is a no fast repair series, and that's the way I like it. That's the way my wife likes it. That's the way my whole family likes it. You break it, you bought it. And no, they killed Kenny and then he's back the next episode. This is all, it's all said and done here. So I believe we'll have to do some repair in the pits there for Dries.
Well, the old you bend the sheet metal, you got to get the hammers out. You don't get the old magic wand that says here's a new car for you.
Okay, now the leader's back here having to get around Daniel Kruger, who's at the back of the ST field. And I got to tell you, Justin Hill had just a little bit of trouble. Szabo, not as much, able to close the gap just a little bit more.
And there's one key thing here to note there is with Dries and Schwenke out, those are two really, really fast drivers who are now sitting in the pits here. So that opens up the field to maybe have some people move up some positions that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So we might see some interesting shakeup in the points here.
Absolutely, both in the race results and in the point standings, You know, Sean, I'm looking at a really fun battle in your class here between Alex Brown and Chris Hewson. They're running 13th and 14th. We won't make these stay on it too long, but these guys have been going back at it. They're the Mustangs are going around them. They no after everything settles down, then they go right back at it again. It looks like Brown's going to sit out there in front for a little while. I just wanted to give them a little screen time.
Yeah, and I don't think either car has a scratch on them, Bill.
No.
Man, they've done it and done it the right way, man. They've taken care of their equipment, getting ready to hand it off to their partners here in probably just a few laps. And hats off to them indeed, man. They've run a great race and put on a really good show back here. And, yeah, we probably have not even begun to give them quite as much notice as they deserve. Houston really doing a good job of keeping the car together here. We know these cars are falling off at this point, and they're probably begging for a pit stop here in the next 2 or 3 laps. I've got to imagine. We're 40 minutes into the race now.
Looking back at the overall leader of S-House there, looks like he's coming up on the second place in the ST class there, and he'll be coming up on the leader of that, of course, which is Justin Hill here, not too far into the future here, so about 40 minutes in, and we're going to have the ST cars going a lap down here. So we have our sort of framework for how this is going to play out as far as these slightly slower class cars.
Yeah, and, it looks like it took them just about a full run to get to the front of the ST class. So it hasn't really been a whole lot of trouble here in the ST class, except for the ones that we've talked about, that are off right now. And it's certainly unfortunate for them, but for our leaders, they've been rock solid, man, and put up a pretty good pace.
There's a car off to the side of the road. Looks like Kevin Ford is bad day has just gotten way worse, and that car is all kinds of tore up.
And again, that's Patrick Bieri, his partner. That we may not see Patrick in this race here today. Had a little bit of damage that he took on the first lap, and then he had some other issues, and that was a big hit. Clearly, the car was not fun to drive after that first lap incident.
No, I mean, that's right, Bill. And a key thing here is keep in mind that that car, that is your second place car from Daytona here, that, Patrick Bieri isn't even gotten a chance to get into it yet. And surprisingly, Ford looks like he has passed by the pit entrance. I'm shocked.
He's just gonna muscle it around.
Gentlemen,
hour and 52. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, gentlemen, S-House just got by Justin Hill. Did it clean, side by side there for just a moment. But Hill now catches onto the draft and actually able to keep it close for just a little bit. Enough to open it up. Zavo is becoming a memory right now, and our leader, Justin Hill, starting to kind of open things up again as we get ready to set up for pit stops. You'll take every second you can get when you know Canchin's getting into the car behind you.
Right, and we talked about that. We talked about that earlier when we were talking about the Andre Saunders matchup against Sonny Canchin. Well, we have kind of that thing going on in the Mustangs as well, where Mika Eshouse is going to turn the car over to James King. Again, another quality driver, but maybe not up to the level of Dexter Castro, who's going to be Eklund's partner. So you can see the Mika's out there trying to give as much ground as he can, as much lead as he can to his partner before he turns it over and has Castro trying to run him down. Fascinating. I love team driving.
Well, and the fascinating thing about this series, Bill, is the fact that we have, it's team driving, but on top of that, not everybody's running in a team. Some of these guys are running solo, so you got driver swap, and you got some people not swapping cars. So it makes for an interesting mix for sure when the pit stops come around.
And Sean, we forgot to mention that there are live stewards here. So usually the crashes, when they have a crash, it brings out the yellow flag. But these guys, these incidents that they've had, some of them have been very severe. I think everyone's been able to pretty much limp the car back. I don't think there's been anything that would maybe merit a yellow flag.
We saw Dries limp his back, right. And he was near the end of the circuit there and pretty close to pit lane. But yeah, we've been pretty fortunate. I know in the pre-race we suspected that there might be several cautions so far. The race caution free, and a pretty good one at that. But Justin Hill really again been the class of the field so far since he made that move on Iannucci earlier, taking advantage of that mistake that Iannucci made. Iannucci done a good job to recover sitting there in third, but yeah, it's been a good battle here in the ST class in the first part of this race.
Well, and I think the reason why we're not seeing these yellow flags is we kind of expected with these tight turns, that we're seeing a lot of car-on-car contact with people making some mistakes going into those corners, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of guys self-spin as the tires give up, and there's a lot of runoff here, so there's a lot of room for these guys to get out of the racing line and not cause a problem for traffic.
Other than the Ford, I didn't write it down. I believe it was Eklund they got together. Richard, if it wasn't you, if it was somebody else, I apologize. I thought it was Eklund and Ford that got together in the Mustangs in the first line. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Richard Eklund, director got me. It was S-House and Ford got together. Other than that, guys, that's really been the only car-to-car that we've seen that caused any problems. There's Richard. I can hear Richard Eklund watching the replay now. That's Soup always picking on me. Always blaming me for stuff. Sorry, Rich.
He'll forgive you, Soup. He'll forgive you, man.
Just wanted to follow up on an earlier story we had with Dries Nice had crashed or had some issues where he smashed up the front of his car there. He is back out there on track with his car at least slightly repaired. He is 2 laps down in second to last position, but Travis Schwenke sits there just in the pit road, just agonizingly watching everybody go by.
Yeah, Trevor, that's the only car I see not out there that took the grid, and that's the Schwenke-Ratche combination there of Asbury 426. Gonna take a hit in the points, boys.
Yeah, Dries was able to get enough repair on that to get a hood back on the car, but the front end's still pretty wrinkled up. Might not be handling quite as well as it was previously. Well, apparently it wasn't handling that good. Obviously, he got off course and hit that barrier very, very hard. Those weren't tires. That was concrete, so that damage still could be pretty good. He is, pretty... Car seems to be okay right now, but we'll see as we go along. But that car has taken its pit, and Dries is back on the track, boys.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there, Sean, looking at your class leader, Justin Hill there, I'm looking at his lap times, and we were expecting some severe fall-off. We talked about it, and he just put down, again, on lap 26, his fastest lap of the race. 47 minutes in, 26 laps. He is putting down a show here today.
Well, I had said earlier that they had fallen off a little bit from where they had started, but as we've gotten deeper into the run, actually, it seems like a few of these guys have taken a little bit better care of the car than we thought, and that trouble we talked about with tires doesn't seem to be, at least for the leaders right now, as much trouble as it is for the guys all the way back there behind trying to chase. Justin Hill really making it look effortless. I said that, and the car got a little out of shape right there. But yeah, no, it's been pretty effortless as he continues to go around. That's lap 27 for that car, getting ready to tick off 28, guys.
You think tires may not be a problem? At lap 26, Justin Hillia turns his fastest lap, 36.1. That's about half a second faster than anything he's done earlier in the race.
That is amazing. In actual fact, that is actually on par with what Andre Saunders put down as a qualifying lap before we even started this race.
Thomas Sabo able to get around Drew and Yersum and the Mama Jean racing machine. Drew out there putting up the good fight, Bill.
Yeah, and we have a couple of the Mustangs now is beginning to go a lap down. We speak of Mama Jean. Mama Jean, Scott Brooks has fallen a lap down to the actual Mustang leader now as S-House has lapped him.
Oh, and actually watching George Johnson just came on the front stretch and just spun it around and nailed that inside wall. We're going to replay on this one here, guys.
And look at that, just coming out of 11. Maybe got the power down, maybe, and then the car just came around. Don't know if he just got the power down and the back end got loose or if he got out on the dirt. Hard hit to the inside wall. Nobody else involved. That's a long way. What's bad is you could not crash your car in a worse spot.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Bill. That is, he is going to have a hard time limping that around to the pits if he's going to come in for some repairs. And by the looks of the way that right front is looking, he needs to come in for repairs.
You can line that up with an MX-5 now. They'd be about the same length.
I'm waiting for him to come through that corkscrew when half the wheels seem to be off the track anyway. So.
Slow Johnson Racing. Let's see. Is Slow Johnson? Usually George solos it. That's what Slow Johnson's all about. No, he has a partner here. Actually, Chad Osborne's scheduled to race with him today.
Well, guys, you think anybody's getting nervous for a pit stop right about now?
Yeah, I would think that they would be, but I mean, looking at Justin there, I think he's saying, I hope I have enough fuel to just keep going, because apparently tires. Oh, and we have a spin on the front stretch again.
Yeah, it looks like Cartier gets around and the Phoenix Racing Machine. Gets the car corrected. Heading back up the track across the start finish line. Houston still with a good battle there. We're on him now.
Yeah, that's just been going on and going on.
Yeah, those two have been fighting for the whole race so far. That's been a good one to watch. They are still on pace, turning really good laps.
Now,
sorry, Bill.
It seems like it's going to be a good battle, and let's enjoy it while it lasts. Because again, I hate to do this to the drivers running the middle stint, but we're looking at David Whammon running against David Whammon, who's going to team up with Alex Brown there in the whole world endurance team. But if Chris Hewson, when he turns that over, 49 Motorsports is turning that over to Deuce Allen, and Allen is pretty fast, so this thing may dissipate, may spread out a little bit when the driver swap happens. Okay, am I hearing that Jacobs has come in? Yes.
Oh, Daniel Kruger having trouble in the Extreme Motorsports 3 machine, the number 32. All off in the dirt, coming off 11. He had big trouble there.
It looks like he's got a little bit of damage on that car there, too. Not sure what he made contact with, or if he did.
I think his trouble started just before 11, actually. I saw him slow on the track just outside the pit entry. He got through the turn and then got all the way off into the dirt.
Oh, he was doing some... I looked back there, and he was doing some Tokyo drift through that second to last corner.
Well, we'll throw it up on the replay here and take a look at it. Little drifting here for you. Oh, yeah, that car just off and around, and pretty good car control to get it back up on the track.
I was going to say, just before that, what led to that was he went through that corner about 45 degrees, which is what pointed him right at that dirt.
All right, well, here we go. Justin Hill still in command of this race in the ST class. The new Mazda looking to be a pretty strong contender here. Szabo holding on to second place. Giuseppe Iannucci in third. Alex Brown in fourth. And Chris Hewson round out the top five.
Let's look at that Hewson-Brown battle right now, because I want to talk here about the Mustang that's going around him right there. Now, that was the car that was driven by Jeff Jacobs. Well, we talked about him minding the store. Well, Jeff, Mama's home, because Todd Hanzarenko has gotten into that machine, and now it's time for him to fly. Currently running in 5th position, but that's with a pit stop behind him, so the guys up ahead will have to stop. So set your watches, boys, and watch Todd do his work.
Brown with a move. Puts the move on Houston. No, I'm sorry. Houston puts the move on Brown. Have the cars mixed up there.
Oh, and actually further back we have Dries Nice is off the track. Looks like he's spun out into that corner and off in the dirt, and he's just getting it back on track now.
No contact, though, to Dries, so that's good.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That was Houston there pulling off the big move to finally get that position away. They've been battling for so long.
Really been fun to watch those guys.
Yeah, it really has. But Houston finally taking advantage of a little bit of a slip up there by James Brown.
Sean, you ran down the MX-5s. Maybe I'll take a second here before this pit stops come in here. Mika, I hear contact somewhere. Do we have a car? No, I guess we're okay. I heard it. I can't find it, so I'm not seeing it. Maybe it was this car in the sand. Sometimes when they get in the sand, it sounds pretty scary. Let me run down a little bit of these Mustangs here. Mika Eshouse out in front. Now, he's got about a almost 5-second lead on Eklund, who's been able to hang on, keep station pretty well. Now I go back to 3rd place, and I'm seeing a long way back to Craig Williams. Is he still in the car? He is, and I don't think he's made his pit stop yet. So he's still out there running in 3rd. Chad Dalton still needs to make that pit stop running in 4th, and then we go back to Todd Hanzarenko running for Extreme Motorsports. They made their driver swap already. Keep going a little bit. Scott Burke still out there now running in 6th, as he's going to bring the car in right now from the 6th position in the for Mama Jean Racing. And that allows Russell Ruddick for Flying Tortoise to actually gain that position now, move into 6th position still for... Oh, and now we have, Travis Davis has made the switch into there. So they've already made their pit stop, running in 6th position.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like a lot of the Mustangs starting to come on in and get that first pit stop out of the way. Not the Mazdas, guys. They are still holding strong. Now, generally, they do get a little bit more mileage. And, we talked about the fuel percentage today being at 65%. We're about to see exactly what that window is going to be. Will it be 3 more laps, 5 more laps? I don't know. Because this is a new car and this is a new day. So we'll see. But Justin Hill doing a good job of holding on to the lead. He's got 33 laps on those tires, that car.
Sean, I was told by knowledgeable people that was not doable, that he couldn't be running these fast laps. Now, I got to go with the experts who tell me these things, but, man, when you run your fastest lap, 26 laps in, that tells you a lot.
And, man, he just had a really daring run down through the corkscrew all over the curbs and a little bit in the dirt, and just... Car looks great, man. It really does. I said 33 laps. I didn't think it was doable either. My practice in the car was miserable, to be honest. But I'm not Justin Hill. I'm not anybody in this field. These guys are definitely world-class drivers. But Justin Hill having the drive of the day right now, the stranglehold on the lead in the ST class.
Yeah, and looking back at the Mustangs, looks like Craig Williams, who is in 3rd position, has just pulled it down into the pits for his pit stop. So we'll see how that goes, and we expect to see probably the Mustangs to start coming down in force now, I'd imagine, the ones that haven't stopped yet.
Yeah, and Hill just ran his 2nd fastest lap, another 36.1, a 1 minute 36.1 to be more specific, on lap 33. So that's how you do it. I guess that's how you save tires. And you know what? It kind of shows what's going on, because he's got 7 seconds back to Szabo now. When you start gapping Thomas Szabo, you're doing something right.
Well, I just want to thank Justin for, we get all of our information so we can be as prepared as we can in the booth for the stories that are going to happen. And then Justin goes and ruins it all by running, an amazing race so far. So thanks a lot for taking all of our information and making it apparently not valid.
That's right.
So that car, Craig Parks is in the car, and he has spun it coming out of the pit road. Didn't quite get her all turned around. We've got a replay up on that one. And he is apparently not a little bit anxious to get out on the track.
You know, and I don't even know if we talked about that enough in the pre-race. The exit off of pit road, really tricky here. You really got to, see, you got to get the car slowed down through there and turn hard to the left. And that did not work out for Parks.
No, that pit road exit is one of the worst that I've ever encountered here, because it just kind of, you have to go so slow there and then just kind of spits you out onto the track unceremoniously, so it can be pretty rough.
It goes on forever. It's like half a lap before it dumps you out, it feels like. And what's more interesting is you can see the guy you're racing. He can pass you in pit lane. Then you can actually pass him back on pit exit. Then he gets you back before you get out on the track. It's a bizarre pit exit.
So looking back through, it looks like only the top 2 Mustangs, I think, are the only ones that haven't come in for a stop. Maybe Chad Dalton in that 77. I'm not sure if he has or not. But looking at the times, Eklund and Essos haven't come in, and looks like Chad Dalton is in the pit road as we speak. So Chad's actually having not too bad of a run here, running in 5th, although that's probably going to chase around a little bit once he comes in for this pit stop. He's running that car solo, so no driver swap here, just fresh tires and some fuel into that car.
And Eklund bringing it in for 49 Motorsports now, so the captain getting loose, getting ready to come, Dexter Castro. Doing some stretching. Got himself into the chair right now, waiting for Richard to get out. I'm assuming that Castro's going to get in. Maybe Eklund's going to run a second stint. Nope. And the captain is in.
So we shall see. We talked about that, leading up to these pit stops, but we kind of expect Castro to start chewing into some of those lap times here, and we'll see how he does once he gets out on track.
Okay, our 3rd place car in the ST class, Giuseppe Iannucci, is in the pit lane, guys. Coming down. Nice slow entry in. It's a long way down to those pit boxes from where you got to enter. Iannucci in the car.
And Iannucci out of the car.
And Nicholas Taman's in the car now for Team Potato North America. Hope I got that right. Nicholas Taman's.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, Sean. I mean, it took us an entire race and then instructions afterwards to be able to say Essos, right? So, we can be forgiven a little bit here.
Well, Hill, our leader. Here in the GS leader is in, guys. S-House in the pits.
And what we'll want to do here now, this will be exciting. What we'll want to probably do is pick up Castro, because these guys were close enough. It was only about 5 or 6 seconds between S-House and Eklund before they came in. So now Castro has stepped in for Eklund. Let's see if S-House is going to step out of the machine. Okay, King is in. Now, we'll see. I would imagine King's going to get out first, but then we'll watch Castro see if he can run him down. Now, what's really interesting here is the big gap back from Castro to Hans Zarenko. Hans Zarenko really has his work cut out for him. I'm showing 24 seconds back to him. So Castro now is just going through turn 11 right now, heading onto the main straight. And King is rolling. King's going to get out well ahead. So they're going to be split.
Yep, let's see if he can make this, navigate this pit road exit nice and clean. Looks like he did, kept it off the dirt, and he's back on track here. So it looks like King's going to enjoy a nice, healthy lead here after that driver swap.
Yeah, I'll see if my timing is scoring. Not going to update for me yet. It's showing him. There we go. About 9 seconds back to Dexter Castro. And then it's about... oh, my goodness, I'm going to think about 25 seconds back to Hans Zarenko. Again, it hasn't caught up with... oh, maybe we can look on it on there. No. Yeah, 24. Okay. All right, there we go. So, but what's interesting here is probably if you were to pick the fastest of those drivers, be Hans Zarenko, the next fastest Castro, and maybe the guy who will be the most pace paced challenged, if I put it politically correctly, would be king.
Pastedly challenged? It
No.
doesn't sound healthy, Bill.
I consider myself follically challenged. So let's mark this right now. As already King has dropped it, Castro's cut it down to under 9 seconds now. So we'll keep an eye on that as those three drivers keep a look at that interval. Sean, what do your class look like? Hilly's still out there, huh?
Yeah, he's still out there, and he's just still nailing it, man. Throwing down some hot. I mean, the last lap was a 136.601. He's still got a really good pace. Szabo not able to do anything with him. Szabo's still on the track also. Really, most of the ST class still on the track, waiting for that first pit stop here, Bill. Nicholas Taymans was one of the first that we saw go in. He's back out now, but Houston and Alex Brown still battling. Brian Cartier is still out there. He hasn't been in, so yeah, a lot of guys still waiting to make that move.
Yeah, this is where everyone, the viewers laugh at me, and everyone starts to laugh at me when I try to figure out the halfway point of a 2.5 hour race. That would be 1 hour and 15 minutes to go, right? So if I'm looking at the clock, it's 2:28. There's 13 minutes to the halfway mark. Oh, help me if I got that all screwed up.
No, you're dead on there,
did
buddy.
I get that one? All right.
You got it. You're all over it, Bill.
Well, at least all the classes start at the same time, so we don't even have to enter that into it like we did with the Predator format in the Pacific Majors. So.
Oh, what Trevor's talking about is a great from the Pacific Majors where they start one class, the slow class first, and the next class second, and the fastest class last, and they all end up together at the end. If you haven't got a chance to see those, they're on Sunday night. Check them out on GSRC. Pack Majors, great series.
Well, Hilly having to get around Daniel Kruger. That's the second time we've had to see him go around Kruger. Able to do it cleanly. Kruger doing a good job of staying out of the way. Caught him in a not so friendly spot on the track. But again, able to pull away, and Justin Hilly, still your leader, still on track. Again, not a lot of guys choosing to come in yet. Bill, I don't know. We're getting into that window where you might be able to one-stop it if you can keep it out of here for just maybe a little over 10 more minutes.
I'm going to confuse everybody when I start to talk about this. I was kind of involved in a little bit. Didn't have a lot to decision-making, but I was there in the room when the discussion was happening about what the fuel limit should be for this new MX-5. Now, it was 65% for the old one and 65% for this one. But this one gets better mileage. It's not as thirsty as the other one, but the fuel tank is smaller than the old machine. So when all said and done, they kept it the same. So we're really not sure what's going to happen here.
Well,
I don't think they should be able to go halfway, though.
I think Brian Cartier was confused about what he wanted to do. Hilly gets around him, and then Cartier looks to make a move into the pit, and then pulls off to the right, gets it back on track. So maybe a little right in front of Kruger. Maybe a little confusion on what the strategy was.
Maybe the relief driver wasn't ready. Maybe he was coming in and said, I'm not there yet. Wait, hang on.
That's why you got to have a man on the box, man. You got to have a man on the box taking care of that, making sure everybody's on point and ready to go, Bill.
Oh, you teams with high payrolls that can afford drivers and crew chiefs. The poor teams that are on a shoestring budget that are this kind of piecing it together.
Well, you know what, Bill? I've found that sometimes they'll work for no money. They'll just keep doing it. I mean, my team's been going for a while now, and I haven't paid them a cent. They keep complaining, but they keep coming in, so.
Hey, let me give you an update here. We talked about the 9-second lead that King had over Dexter Castro. Well, he's chopped that about by 1/3. It's now just over 6 seconds, so it won't be long before Castro's looking to take over the lead. So let's look at the lead. Dexter Castro's lead was about 24 seconds over Hans Rinko. Todd hasn't been able to do much on that. It's knocked off about a second. Well, that's a long way to go.
Actually, if we can look at our leader, King, right now, it looks like he is having a world of trouble getting around Chad Dalton in that 77 car. Looks like he's going to make it on the straight stretch, but he was all over his bumper. Actually, no, with that MX there, Chad is maintaining his position here, trying to not go a lap down.
Well, that makes a big difference. There are full course cautions here, and if you can stay on the lead lap, that helps you. You get all the way around when the cautions are done. He's going to duck inside and get that done. Yes. Now he's got Brian Cartier up ahead of him there in that MX-5. And I'm not sure that Chad's going to surrender that lap there. If he can get a run here with this slower car that's up here slowing down our leader.
And there we go. It's the pit stops are happening. Szabo is out of the car. Sonny Ketchen is in. Justin Hilly still on track, boys.
With Sonny Ketchen coming in, I mean, we're what 6-7 minutes away from midway here. I wonder if they're in their window.
Man, I'll tell you what. 49 Motorsports A might have something up their sleeves. They do stay on track, and I got to tell you, if they can pull off just maybe 3 more laps, I think they're good to the finish with just one stop, guys.
You know, and to reiterate at the beginning of this race,
here they go.
And here comes
That's
Hilly
not
in.
the strategy. Here they come. Hilly dives in, cuts off the corner just a little bit. They're getting off the road, a little dicey. Woo, baby!
That is some not insignificant contact with that metal guardrail there. As we bring the replay up.
Ooh, he did. He wrapped on it pretty well there, guys. Ouch.
I was going to say, you know, that pit entry is is even more tricky, I think, than the pit exit here. And, you know, even somebody who like Hilly, who's been obviously putting on a clinic here, still can make a slight mistake and damage that car before he hands it over to Andre Saunders.
Yeah, and it does ding up the right front just a bit. Now, I don't know if they're going to... Yeah, and Allen is out.
Poor Andre Saunders got to be sitting there saying, all right, he drove that car the whole time, going to turn me over a nice, clean car. And then 30 seconds before he gets it, he puts it in the wall for him.
And he's sitting there for a long time, so they're getting that damage fixed before they head out on the track.
It might be. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, and you know, honestly, I'm still seeing just a little bit of damage there. So hopefully the steering okay in that car. He hit it pretty good, but now they got to watch themselves getting back on the track. Taman is our new leader. Yeah,
got around him there as they just out of pick. So Taman's there for Team Potato North America. Oh, coming up right behind Alex Brown.
Yeah, Taman taking a spot away from Alex Brown, getting around, and man, nice run for Taman.
It looks like George Johnson there decided to get all the way out of the way of those guys. Didn't want any part of that action.
Yeah, and that was Whammond, actually, that he got around. I'm sorry, not Alex Brown. Good job there by Tamans, though, as he does become the new leader in the ST class. So Tamans decides to go in early, and now we know we're going to definitely need another stop. Guys, unless we get a caution flag, which we just haven't seen any potential here for that today. If you're gambling on that, that might not be a good one.
So now here's a name I don't know, Nicholas Tamans. This is new. Let's find out about this guy. Is he fast? Is he slow? Is he medium? Is he going to stay the whole way all the way to the end? He's going to turn it back over to Iannucci.
He's got to get around Schwenke now. Setting up Schwenke here, coming up the straight. Across the start-finish line. To the inside of Schwenke. On board with him now. Got to get through the Andretti hairpin. Here we go.
And mentioning Schwenke, of course, he had that huge accident and crumpled up the the front of that car, so he is back on track. So I believe we have all of our competitors still out there on the track. And actually, looking at Schwenke, you got to admire the art to craft there. His front end was all bashed up, so they decided to put a bent hood on the top of that car when they fixed it up to say, you know what, you had some damage on the front. We'll put a hood that actually fits that gap now on there. Just remember that hood was completely removed, and they put a new one on, and I guess they just had a used one.
Yeah, you would think they could have got a new one out of there.
Okay, now we had Deuce get into John Allen get into the number 47, 49 Motorsports C car, and he has got that up to 4th.
Yeah, I just saw Allen got a slowdown penalty. Had trouble negotiating the corkscrew, so that got a little bit slow, but he's certainly doing well. I'm going to give you a few numbers again, guys, because there's not a lot of excitement happening up here unless you like watching the numbers. James King is still your leader, but we talked about it. It started at 9 seconds at the pit stop. Now it's down, I checked back in, it was 6.3. Now it's down to 4.2 to Dexter Castro. All right, but I'm not done talking numbers. We go back to Castro. It was about 24 seconds when Hans Zarenka was behind him. Now it's down to 18 seconds. So the way this is going, I think Castro's going to catch King about the same time that Hans Zarenka catches Castro. A little bit loose from Hans Zarenka there as he's coming up behind. So that's the wrong. Sitting there, he's got a little ways to go. Hans Zarenka now running, and Trevor, it kind of reminds me, we've talked about the Predator format, but I think we kind of got something similar to that going on in the Mustangs right now, with the slowest car out in front, the medium car behind them, and then the fastest car well back. They're all going to get there at the same time.
Yeah, and that's the thing here with some of these teams doing driver swaps like we mentioned. I mean, all drivers are not built equal. I mean, they're in the same car here, and of course some of these faster drivers look like they're pulling this second stint, but there's a lot of these guys who've been given cars that aren't quite what they probably practice with either. So they're doing a great job of handling these cars that are slightly off a setup, let's say.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jeff Jacobs is not going to appreciate this, but you put me as a partner with Todd Hans Zarenka. Now I'll get you a podium, baby.
Guys, over here at ST, Taman's really got the throttle down in the Team Potato North America entry. Really opened things up. I mean, 6 seconds back to second place in 49 Motorsports. Andre Saunders in the car back there, and Kanchan even further back than that, another 6 seconds back to him. So the top three really spread out here in the ST class, boys.
And I wonder, I mean, remember Iannucci actually got some damage on the front end of that car that Taman's is now driving, and it still looks pretty banged in there. I mean, I wonder if there might be some, mechanical issue, any overheating. I don't think that's obviously the issue because he's, seems to be driving the wheels off the sucker, but I don't know. I mean, you have a little bit of damage, and sometimes it comes to bite you a little bit later on.
He's still running 136s right now, so not too bad. I mean, that's kind of been the sweet spot for the MX-5 here, at least for the leaders in the 136s for most of the race right now. And again, Taman's doing a pretty good job with a machine that's got a little beat up on it there, and hey, hats off to him, doing a good job with it. This MX-5 definitely showing to be a pretty durable machine there, Trevor.
Yeah, well, I mean, new technology, the new 2016 car, so maybe they put some extra fenders in there, some extra roll bars, some extra metal to keep her solid. But
I was going to say, Taman's here got a pretty good little battle on his hands. He's got Travis Davis in the GS class chasing him down, but I got to be honest, right now Taman's doing a really good job of keeping his distance. Now they're going to deal with the straightaway here, but again, Taman's looking very racy, guys.
And Bill, looking back at these Mustangs here, we've mentioned that Castro was just kind of tearing it down here, and we've got to the situation where Castro can now see the leader very clearly in his windshield. So we know that's when the racers turn it up a little bit. If you can see the guy, then you can catch the guy.
Yeah, just over 3 seconds from King to Castro. Let me take a second in this 2.5-hour race and maybe give a little screen time to some of these guys we don't talk much about. How about fourth position? Talk about Craig Parks here, running for Team Bushfink Red. Qualified fifth, up one position, running in fourth now. Parks out there doing a nice job. He's got about 30 seconds on him, so he doesn't have to go too fast because it's 30 seconds back to Travis Davis, running for Flying Tortoise Motorsports there. Started sixth, made his way up to fifth position. Nice job from him, taking the middle stint. And he doesn't have to hurry too much because he's got about 28 seconds back to iRacing Today Motorsports there with Chad Dalton running in there. Doing a good job in the number 77 machine. And Chad, guess what? You don't have to hurry too much because you got about a 40-second lead. We go all the way back to Robert Jackman, who's taken over the middle stint there for Mama Jean Racing. Currently running in 7th position. And Robert, guess what? You don't really have to hurry very much either because you got like several laps back to Patrick Bieri. Hey, look at that. Patrick Bieri has come back in to take that machine over from Kevin Ford. Kevin Ford did a good job keeping that thing out there. So Bieri, those guys are just going to do workmanlike service, bring that thing away. And that pretty much takes care of most of the Mustangs that are running. More Mustangs running out there. Let me double check real quick. One more. Nope. Slow Johnson. Slow Johnson is now stopped Johnson Racing. So I think his day may be done. You never know. George may bring that car back out there for the front.
Stop Johnson. Oh, Bill. Where do you come up with them?
Well, I mean, he's on the money with it. I got to be honest. It's a good one. Guys, Nicholas Tamans was able to hold off the GS car in front of him of Travis Davis for almost 3 laps. Now, Travis in 5th position. Now, we know he's a ways back off the lead, but he just couldn't get around him. Taman's really driving the wheels off of it right now. Open that gap now up over 8.5, almost 9 seconds on Andre Saunders. Sonny Canchin starting to catch Andre just a little bit. So Asbury Motorsports trying to hold on to the podium. Oh, we got a battle for the lead up in the GS class, guys.
Yeah, Dexter's been back there saying, here, kitty, 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 and he's just about caught up to James King now.
And just about means he is right there, and I don't expect this is going to last more than a lap the way that he's been flying to close that gap up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see King's attitude here, if he's going to make Dexter work for it, if he's going to say, look, you're faster, go on by and I'll give it back to my teammate and we'll settle this between them. Let's see what it does here. Castro not with a great exit out of 11, so I don't think he's going to get there before Andretti. And just to follow up, I'm going to give you this number back to Honzarenko again. It's now 16.5 seconds. So Castro can't spend a lot of time messing around with King because he can see that Honzarenko is coming.
Now, it's not a battle for position back here, but tell you what, Dries Nyes has got a mirror full right now of Sonny Canchin. Canchin wanting to get around. Dries a lap down. Several laps down, actually. Had that trouble earlier. Canchin trying to make the move on him now. Can't pull it off. Dries having a good drive right now. Canchin hot on his tail.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, Bill, here. I mean, we saw how quickly Castro caught him, but to catch him is one thing, but to pass him is definitely another thing here.
Rooster milk, baby. Part of milking a rooster is after you catch it, and that's what's happened here. Let's see if he can get a little milk out of that rooster. Boy, he has taken a hard. See, it's tough. It's tough.
And of course, now we got an MX ahead of him there too. So
well, this may actually help King here because he can kind of keep Castro behind, use Schwenke as a pick. King looking. He's got another. He's got Dries Nyes. This is the battle that Sean was just talking about. Nyes does a great job. Nice place, Nyes, and lets Castro and King go by.
Taman's on the radio. Taman's on the radio about something. He's got William right in front of him. I don't know. Maybe he's just communicating with him, but he was pretty vocal there for a moment.
Yeah, that's Billy Bob Wright who stepped in for Mama Jean Racing there. I'm sorry, that's Taman's going around. Now, it won't be long here. Do I have this right? I thought the leaders were going to come up on the leaders of their class.
It looks like they're coming up on Sonny Kenshin, who's
Sonny
running
Kenshin, there we
third
go.
in class right now. So definitely, obviously a fast car here. So these guys are nose to tail, and Sonny's, he's got some space to get out of the way, but we all know Sonny's such a good racer.
Maybe a slowdown. Boy, King was really loose through the corkscrew, and I think he got a slowdown penalty for that. He got the left part of the corkscrew. He got the cork right, but he didn't get the screw right, and that part got him. Slowdown penalty, and that's good news for Castro, who spent a couple laps trying to get around him. And meanwhile, as Castro smokes the tires going through 11, the gap from Castro now back to Hans Zarenko is about, maybe 14 seconds. Hans Zarenko is coming. So now here comes Castro, and he's going to be coming up here on Sonny Kenshin pretty soon. Kenshin is not going to want to lose any momentum. He's trying to run down the guys who are in front of him.
Yeah, and you got to imagine he'll be driving his line, so they will have to get around and do it with caution. This will be fun.
But guys, that slowdown penalty, couldn't have the marshals not shown that black flag? That was such a good battle. I didn't want to see that end, not like that. I wanted to see, how he was going to get around him.
Honestly, that black flag might have been a blessing for both of those cars. Look at the catch, and really, I don't know, did we have that on camera? Yeah, we did. Castro was really slowed up by Kenshin and lost all of his momentum, and that's going to bring King back into the hunt.
And Kenshin throwing dirt all over the place, making that track just even a little bit more difficult to get around.
I'm sorry, Dexter, but I got Andre Saunders to catch here, so if you want to get around, you got to do it without me losing any pace here. I think Dexter may have to wait till they get to the main straight.
Yeah, he is going to have to wait, because I'll tell you what, Kenshin was really smooth down there through the corkscrew and rainy. Here they go into 11. Kenshin gets it wide.
I should have him here, I'd imagine. But as these guys pass, we see on camera, man, you can just, the difference in size between those cars is just amazing how much bigger that Ford is.
Yeah, but you'll probably see Kenshin make up a little ground here as they go through the hairpin. Mazda just really handles well down through there.
It almost reminds me of two different kinds of slot cars. When you were a kid, you had slot cars. You had like the HL slot cars and a little bigger slot car. It's like they got two different kinds of slot cars on the track at the same time. Does anybody know? Did I
Bill?
really date myself?
No, sir.
Slot cars?
I had plenty myself. The old AFX slot cars up on the big table in the basement. You bet, buddy. That's how we spent the winter months.
Yeah, we didn't have iRacing back then. We had to imagine our own racing.
That's right. This was our iRacing.
My dad being a race car driver was kind of an advantage. We always had the fastest slot cars in the neighborhood because Dad was always tuning on them, if you know what I mean.
Well, meanwhile, up at front there, both James and Dexter have made it around Sonny Kenshin there, so that has resolved itself, and Sonny doesn't look like he's lost too much time, and he's going to hang with these guys for a bit, I think.
And it's about 11 seconds now back to Hans Zarenko. He's coming. Look at this. King has got back into Castro.
Yeah, we kind of thought that Castro was going to pull away once he got around King, but that is definitely not the case here.
And Sonny Kenshin with a front row ticket to the show, boys, watching that battle rage on in front of him. Kenshin starting to close on Saunders just a bit. Saunders now, though, almost 11 seconds back from Nicholas Taman's.
Closing on Saunders just a bit, but I I really owe Andre an apology because I thought Kanchan would be able to run him down faster than he has. Saunders has done a good job of keeping that gap significant.
Yeah, Saunders having a really good drive. You're absolutely right, Bill. It's been solid here to start. Hasn't been able to do much with Taymans, but certainly been able to keep just enough space between him and Kanchan here to, maybe make it through the run before Kanchan catches him and they have to go back into the pit. That's going to be the big question. When are you going to take that last pit stop? How much fuel are you going to put in? Are you going to have to take any tires? Because I really don't think anybody did on that last stop. Looking at the times, it doesn't look like anybody opted to take any tires. Maybe. Well, let's see. No, I don't. Everybody was just about the same time, so I don't think there were any advantages taken there with tires on this first round of pit stops.
And Trevor, we talked about Nicholas Taymans. We wanted to know what kind of driver he was. He's new to me, at least. Seems pretty impressive. Certainly not a back marker or a mid packer. He certainly seems to have podium speed.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Bill. It's like we were wondering, what kind of racer is Taymans, and apparently the answer is fast.
Yeah.
A pretty good one, yes, gentlemen.
I mean, that's a pretty strong team. I mean, because we know Iannucci is really strong as well. So between the two of them, now that we know what Taymans is capable of, that is going to be a strong team to beat.
Okay, guys, Saunders now in a little bit of a fight with Dexter Castro. Saunders, our second place car teammates there, having a nice little friendly pass around.
Yeah, that gap was about 6 seconds from Saunders back to Kanchan, and now it's about 4. So here comes Sonny once all this traffic gets out of the way.
So with Saunders being Castro's teammate, do we see a little bit of the MX maybe making himself a little wider as King comes up on him to give Castro just a little bit more gap?
We're about to find out. Because here comes King as they head on down through the corkscrew. I got to be honest. Most everyone's done a great job getting down through there today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, other than some slowdown penalties, we haven't really seen any issues with the corkscrew, and like that's where I expect to see all of the problems, to be honest with you.
Castro wide, getting off of 11.
Oh, Saunders coming up on the slower car there and of William Wright and just about punted him off the track.
Oh, Mama Jean, they're a little bit slower and man, that was close. We've seen so little contact today, though, and everybody just really on point, doing a good job of controlling their cars. For this being their debut here in the Mazda, the 2016 Mazda, again, I've been very, very impressed with the way these men have gotten around today.
Yeah, definitely.
No cookies for Andre Saunders from Mama Jean if she's going to be acting that way.
But
So
yeah, I was going to say, guys, we saw a lot of self spins in the first 45, 50 minutes of this race as the guys were kind of getting used to these cars and the track and whatnot. But since then, things have really calmed down. Whoa, as we see, King has just gone off the track and crashed into the wall. And that car is smoking bad as we go to replay.
Bottom of the corkscrew, we saw a crash just like that earlier. Boy, he hit hard.
And not the first time he's had trouble down in the corkscrew, guys.
That's a lot of smoke coming from that machine.
Yeah, he couldn't save it there. Too much curve, boys.
Well, as Bill coined, he got the cork right, but the screw that bit him.
Yeah, screw got him. And that's really too bad because he had Mika Eshouse in his pocket to come back. He just wanted to turn that car back over to Mika and let Mika do his thing. Oh.
Guys, we got Hans Zarenko trying to get around Kanchan now. Battle back here. Certainly not a battle for the same class, but a battle nonetheless. Here goes Hanzarenko. Oh, yeah, I'm hearing here from our director, King's going to be in for 32 minutes of repair on that machine.
And
as we hit the 1 hour remaining.
And that's why Kevin Ford and Vieri are out there limping that machine around. And that's the points matter, and especially the point system here, where you don't want to be down at the bottom, because there's a big difference between last and next to last and next to last. A lot of points to be made if you're not at the bottom.
Well, that definitely shakes things up at the front there, because it definitely looked like King had the pace to at least challenge Castro going into as the race proceeded here. But taking him out of the picture, looks like Hanzarenko is going to be the next competitor. And he's 8 seconds back, give or take.
Yeah, it started at 20. What do we say? 24, 25 after the pit stops. It's down to 8. The driver swap has already been made, so Hanzarenko can go the distance, so can Castro. Castro knows he's coming. Castro knows. He doesn't even need to know. Look at his timing and scoring. He can just simply see all those letters, all those consonants behind him, and know that he's in trouble.
Here comes Kanchan, guys. He is on it. He's made his way to Andre Saunders. That difference only about a second now. You know, we talked just, 3 or 4 laps ago about how Saunders was having a great drive and was at that point about 10 seconds ahead. But Kanchan, had to work through some traffic, and that obviously slowed Saunders down just a bit. Kanchan done a good job of getting through that traffic just a little bit better, able to make up a lot of ground.
You can stay on that battle, but I just want to mark that Craig Parks has gone past let me get this out here. Bush Fink Racing Blue. That's the car of King and S-House. So Parks has moved into 3rd position, and also Davis has gotten around that stopped car. Now Davis has moved into 4th position.
And as to say, Bill, and that'll actually move Rookie to this series, and my broadcast partner over on my other stuff. That'll run Chad Dalton up into 5th position, so a top 5 for him so far.
Yeah.
He made me promise to say his name as much as I could this time, because I didn't say it enough last time, apparently. So
They don't have a podium for him to stand on, but it is a top 5.
And we still got a little less than an hour of this race to go. So who's to say what
what
holds?
Yeah.
I mean, if King can lose it after racing such a strong race and lose it and blow that car up, anything can happen up front.
Yeah, that gives Mama Jean Racing, who I think, if I got this calculation right, this might be for position right here. I think Mama Jean Racing going to move up into 5th position here with Robert Jackman behind the wheel. Yep. And then it's going to be quite a while, well, not that far, maybe a couple laps before Extreme Motorsports, and that's that Ford-Vieri combo. They're going to get another spot, so it's good to stay out there.
Here comes Kanchan.
This long.
Guys, we're watching it on screen. Here comes Kanchan. Oh, Saunders just a little bit loose, it looked like. Kanchan's caught him. Here we go, down into 11. Boy, they both just seemed to maybe a little bit slower through that. Maybe both of them maybe looked like they missed their mark just a bit. A little off pace through 11, but both get off just about the same as they head down into the hairpin. Kanchan is really almost to him. He worked so hard to get there. They fought through traffic.
Oh, that was a nice sequence of corners by Kanchan there.
Yeah, you see it. Closes the gap. Under the bridge they go. This could be the passing opportunity for Kanchan. They get ready to hit Rahal.
that shot we're seeing right now on the screen. Whoops. There's not a lot of it. Now you see him nose to tail.
Oh, the turn is just so technical right there. You're just hanging it out on the ragged edge as you head up. You make your way off and head up the hill. Into the corkscrew they go and down the hill.
These two drivers about 17 seconds behind the ultimate prize. Nicholas
Yep.
Taymans.
I was going to say, Taman just hits the start-finish now, so they're not that far back. I mean, 17 seconds sounds like a long time, but on the track, they're getting close, or it sure feels like they are.
Boy, Canton drove it in really deep right there. Closed it right up. In the draft. Here we go. The race is on, boys. Heading for the hairpin. Canton looking to the inside. Maybe not right there. Can he get a better run off? Keeps it in tight. Nice and tidy. Yes, sir.
He gets through that sequence of corners so much better, and you can see it on the screen right there, the amount that he's caught up to him.
Saunders feeling a little nervous at this point. I know I would be. He's got to be. Here comes Catch, and he's closing up. Looking to the inside. Gonna make the move on him. Gets around. Sonny Canchin up to second. Setting up here for turn 6. Gotta hang on to it. Fast turn. Oh, a little bit off into the dirt, but man, makes a nice run up to the hill. Saunders not letting off. Here we go. Canton's got to hang on down through the corkscrew.
Okay, I'm making a note here. It's 18.8 seconds now by the time that Canchin got around and has Taymans ahead of him now. Meanwhile, it's been... Oh, actually, the gap is a little bit larger to some. Hansarenko.
And Hansarenko is actually in the pits here.
Okay, Hansarenko had it down to about 5 seconds on to Castro. And I thought of when our director said Hansarenko, I thought maybe he was ready to make the pass. But he has pitted. Now, let's make sure that this is scheduled. I'm going to go back to see if there's anything that set this up that might have been ugly, and I don't think so.
No, I did the same thing, Bill, and I don't see anything. I think this has got to be scheduled.
52 minutes to go. Seems like that's just about right. 50, 50, and 50 is 150, and that's 2.5 hours, baby.
And Hansarenko has finished his service, and he is back out into the pit exit to head back out on the track. So he was eating into that lead big time. Now he's got fresh tires, a new perspective on life, and he's heading back out on the track.
And to Castro's disappointment, he can look back and see that it is still Hansarenko and not Jeff Jacobs. So a little harder to stay ahead of Hansarenko. Jacobs now in the spotter's booth. And here comes Castro. Castro has hit the wall.
Oh my goodness.
Castro just noses it right into the tire barrier, guys.
That's just going in too fast.
That entrance is tricky. We've mentioned it, and that is both class leaders have had problems on pit entry here today.
Is that in the slowdown section? That's not the time section there, is it the time section at that corner? No, it's not. So you're still trying to get as much pace as you can because the cones are around that corner.
It definitely jumped up and bit him for sure.
God, I've done that when I've gone through Jack in the Box. I've hit the speaker. That's what he did there. Castro's gotten out in disgust, giving it back to Eklund. Here, you take it. There's a soda in the cup holder for you.
I might have spilled some. Before all that happened, I was going to mention that Honzarenko actually, a key thing is he got out ahead of Craig Parks and maintained that second position after coming into the pit. So that's key. And then, of course, with Castro having that problem and now Eklund in the car, we'll have to see how they shake out on track here.
And I'm not even sure if Parks actually has made his second pit stop yet. I think Parks still has one to go. Parks, and now there's a not that far back to Eklund.
Eklund coming up towards the corkscrew there on that turn, just coming up that hill, went a little bit off track. I wonder if, with that damage there, I mean, how is this car going to be handling now? We know it's fast, but is it straight anymore?
We might be able to run down some of these drivers and maybe get a little in-race interview from the drivers who've stepped out of their machine. I think we have Mika Eshouse in there. Let's see, how is his... Does that team, have they called it a day? They have called it a day. So let's see if we can bring Mika in. Oh, he's in with us now. Mika, do you have a copy at Soup?
Yes, Bill.
Well, Daytona was a different story. You can't win them all. Tell us about your race. You had a nice beginning, Bart.
Yeah, no, the start went well. I got a nice gap to Richard. We had a nice gap to Jeff as well, because I knew Todd was going to be catching up in the second stint. When James went in, when he got to the kink in one of the laps, he went over the bump on the inside, and there's currently a bug in iRacing that disconnects the rear axle in the Mustang when you go over big bumps. So our car had heavy grabbing from that point on, and then he just got loose in the corkscrew. With we were planning to go into the pits 4 or 5 minutes after that, so bit of a shame really.
Yeah, it is a shame. Well, it probably won't hurt you quite as much in the driver. Let me ask you this. This is one of the things I wanted to ask. For you, if you had your choice of championship to win, would you prefer the driver's championship that you solo or the team championship, that car championship? If you had your pick of one, what would be more important to you?
Team, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. That's something special about doing that with a teammate, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's more interesting anyway.
Absolutely. I'm glad you answered that because it's nice to see that out there. You know, it's a good team you got there, and it would have been a tough uphill road because let me tell you, Honzarenko is picking them up and putting them down right now. So it would have been fun to have him to go toe to toe with him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would have been really interesting again at the end there, but it couldn't be.
All right. Well, you got a few weeks to think about it. Good luck, and we hope to see both you and your teammate back next time when we go to round 3 for the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series. Thanks a lot, Mika.
All right, yeah. See you then, guys. Bye.
Bushfink Racing Blues. No, I don't think that is correct on that. What is that team for them? I guess they are the blue team. Not their day today, boys, but that's racing.
Yeah, and while we were interviewing him, we had Parks did come in for his pit stop. He had moved his car up into second position and now has come in for service. And looking back, looks like Craig Williams is now back in that car.
And Todd, what's going on with the Taymans and Ketchen? Is Ketchen able to do anything? Is he able to close up on him?
Not really, no, Bill. In fact, that difference right now about 19 seconds, and Kanchan off in the dirt.
Yeah, I think we have a new name to mark down because let me tell you, Sonny is something to watch in this machine, and Nicholas is just keeping station. If not, it's not widening the gap.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Andre Saunders starting to look a little racy again in the 49 Motorsports A machine. He's closed the gap on
Sure
Kanchan,
enough.
and those two are in a pretty good little battle right now for second and third place.
Look at that. Nice job for Andre.
Now they're coming up on David Whammon all the way up there by himself. Whammon right now sitting in sixth place in class. And catch him right there at 11. And Whammon gonna stay out of the way of the battle. Gonna let Kanchan by. It's a drag race to the hairpin. Here comes Saunders. Can't do it there in the hairpin. Not enough. And I'll tell you what, you're going to have to do a lot to get around Sonny. You're going to have to either take advantage of a mistake, which is not likely to happen, or really just power your way around them. Both risky and difficult propositions.
Well, boys, I don't really think Saunders needs to get around Kanchan. I mean, if he can hang with him, Sonny's fast enough to pull Saunders around. I mean, that's really, really impressive for Saunders to do that. That's good. That's outstanding.
And you know what, guys? I've been looking back at Richard Ecklund in that car that Castro got some damage in going to the pits. Doesn't look like his lap times have suffered too much on his first few laps now out on the track, but that gap is actually widening to Honsarenko. So even though he's putting down some good laps and apparently the damage isn't hurting the car too bad, he's fallen back a little bit.
Yeah, losing ground to Honsarenko is an element that many drivers have experienced. Do have to give a shout out though to Ecklund's job in the Mustang. I know that's not his car of choice. He's really an MX-5 specialist, or certainly maybe his favorite car. Doing a good job in the heavier machine. It's good to see. It's good for him. It's good for his testosterone level to get out of that MX-5 and into an American muscle car there.
And definitely, I mean, that transition is pretty severe. Like, these cars handle very, very differently. So to move from one to the other is certainly no easy task.
Travis Davis bringing it in for Flying Tortoise Motorsports, currently running in third position in the Mustangs. Time for him to make their final driver change. Just an update on the standings here. Chad Williams is back in the car for Bushfink Racing Red. He's running in fourth, going through the corkscrew right now. One of our favorite drivers here, Chad Dalton, still doing okay. Actually, he's in fifth position now. Mama Jean Racing running in sixth. Has brought it into the pits as well. Let's see if there's a driver change for them.
Looks like Brett Trossen is in, or Trocine is in.
Brett Trocine, that's a 3-member team for Mama Jean Racing. It's the village.
Mama Jean's got quite the crew behind her, doesn't she?
She does. That's cookies. You're gonna have to do 3 dozen cookies now for those boys.
And actually, interestingly enough, looks like Stop Johnson has now returned to Slow Johnson as he actually pulls out of his pit all of a sudden and is back out on the track 30 laps down.
Ah, that a boy, George. Let's look and see. He is 30 laps down. He needs to get in. He needs to put in 19 laps to get to Bushfink Racing Blue to pick up a position. And what I talked about, you do not want to be last in this point system. There are a big gap between last and the next one's up there, so it's rationed out. I believe it's 100 points for first and 25 points for last, and it's spread out equally over the rest of the way. So you don't want to be last and get that 25 points. Every spot you pick up down there at the bottom is big chunks of points. And
Definitely.
Also, and he's looking now at Patrick Vieri has brought that machine in. Is that bringing it in? Yeah, I believe so. what usually happens, boys, is things settle down. The attrition level, usually, you would think at the end of the race when you're tired it would go up, but it really tends to settle down in these long races.
Man, everybody's out here. We've only got one car sitting in the pit, though.
Yeah. Oh, I just heard Eklund. Yep, he went in the... Look where it is again. If you had to guess where Eklund lost it, where would it be? Oh, actually, did he get... I see another car involved.
I see another car warping around like
Warping,
mad.
yeah. It looked like it was Mama Jean Racing. Was that part of it?
It's almost like a spaceship came, dropped that car on top of Eklund, and then carried it away. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah. Looking at our director said it looks like but there was... I'm not sure if Eklund just didn't lose that and maybe Mama Jean Racing was just in the area. We've got, yeah, probably him.
Well, you know what, Bill? If you have a Ford Mustang suddenly appear inside of your Ford Mustang, that'll spook anybody.
That will spook you. But it was that same spot, Sean, the bottom of the screw of the corkscrew. Got him at that. The car looped around, and boy, if I'm going to buy a ticket at Laguna Seca, I may consider one right on that spot.
Yeah, baby, you want to sit right up there on the hill.
Well, it's almost like the corkscrew has took offense to us saying that there wasn't much action there, and all of a sudden, the last half hour, there's been all the action has been in that corkscrew.
And we've got Hans Zarenko. He's caught Kanchan. Already got around Saunders. They're going to head up the straight. You would think Hans Zarenko is going to be able to get around pretty clean here. The horsepower of that Mustang going to just slide right on by. Hans Zarenko catching Kanchan at a pretty good time, because I got to be honest, guys, Kanchan not showing any signs of letting off. He has been digging hard. Just doesn't seem to be making much of a dent in it, though. It's still 18 seconds to Nicholas Taman's.
You know, boys, I'm going through the field looking at these Mustangs. It looks like they've been racing in Martinsville, or they are banged up in all sorts of directions. Guys are just limping them around. It's hard to find one that's pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bill, I dare you to find one that isn't. It doesn't have some form of damage on it out there.
Now we have a battle. Let's look at this. Let's watch Eklund here. This is a battle for position with Bushfink Red. Craig Williams is back in the machine again now. Eklund should be faster, but Lord knows that Mustang's not feeling good after it nosed into the wall. And I think that Craig is going to get him here. There can't be much top-end speed if aero probably doesn't have much to do with this Mustang as it does with those little lawnmower machines like the MX-5. But look at this. And there you go. Williams moves into second place. Eklund dropping down to third. He's got about a minute back to Chad Dalton, so I don't think he needs to worry so much about that. Might be able to limp that car home in third with 37 minutes to go. Barring any more instances with the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if the Fates decide to start, keep dropping cars on top of him. I mean, poor Richard. I mean, if ever there was a problem that was certainly not your fault, then that was one of them for sure.
Well, I got another battle for you. Let's go to your guy here, Chad Dalton, running in fourth position for iRacing Today Motorsports. He's being ran down by Travis Davis. Flying Tortoise. The Flying Tortoise has the wings out, head tucked in, and running after Dalton there. That's a battle for fourth. Those cars one lap down, as there are only 3 cars now on the lead lap. Coming up on Billy Bob Wright in that MX-5. Billy knows how to stay out of the way of the guys behind him. Can't do much there, though. You got to... Now Billy Bob pulls over. He's got to look. He's going to lift. It's a long race. No reason to fight for position there, Billy Bob. Well done. Got 11 seconds back to Dries, though, so don't take too much time there letting those guys go by. Meanwhile, here comes the pass. Nope, not going to happen yet. Yes, it is. He's going to duck in and get him.
And he drove that in deep to make that pass happen.
He kind of scared. I think he scared Chad. I think he drove it in there, and I don't think he was going to do it. And I think Dalton said, I'm going to have to leave the door open for you. And he said, okay, since you didn't lock the door, let me step on through. Travis Davis now takes flying tortoise up to the 4th position. Chad Dalton drops back to 5th. They go through the corkscrew safely. Now let's see if Davis can pull away. And it looks like he might be able to gap Dalton a little bit there.
But you were talking about only 3 cars left on the lead lap there, Bill, and that plays right directly into what happened with Eklund there, because now him and Williams are not too far away from each other, but they are way far off the pace from Richard having to make that extra pit stop after that incident in the corkscrew.
Yeah. Still about a minute back from Eklund back to now it would be Davis. A minute to go with 34 minutes. A minute behind with 34 minutes to go.
Taymans is in the pits, guys. Taymans is in the pits. Nicholas Taymans bringing that car down. Gets it in fast and clean. That's a really nice entry by Taymans. Bringing it down.
This will be interesting, Sean, if they go back to Iannucci or they stay with Taymans. Both of those guys were fast. That's a great combo.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep my eyes on it here.
Oh.
Yeah, missed the stall just a bit there. A little bit of a delay. Just so little time to waste. Cars going up on the jacks, taking tires on the right side.
Yeah, I was saying that puts Sonny Kenshin back into the lead. Has he actually led this race at this point in time? I'm not sure.
This will be the first time. Sonny is up to the lead. Andre Saunders to 2nd. Taymans still in 3rd. Gets 4 tires.
Yeah, both sides went up and down.
Going to have 4 fresh tires for about 33 more minutes, Bill.
And looks like Taymans does stay in the car. So we do not see Iannucci coming back out here. So Taymans is going to bring it down to the checkered flag. But it looks a bit.
So careful getting off here. Taymans was flying, had to back down. Oh, so close getting out. You would hate to get a black flag right there on your last pit stop trying to come out. That was a good stop, guys. Just about 51 and a half seconds.
I mean, I was going to say, and it can't be overestimated or overemphasized the fact that he had such a clean entry into the pit road where so many people have had problems.
Taymans working on Tom Rathje now.
Rathje running 18th overall. Well down in the down the list though of those cars.
And you know what, guys? I mean, Saunders is really impressing me here. We kind of expected Sonny Kenshin to just kind of run away from him, because we know what Sonny's capable of here, but Saunders is not having any of that.
This is quite a drive by Andre.
Yeah, those two have really been the talk of the ST field since we had that last pit stop, guys. They have put on quite a show for us, but Saunders really kind of coming up out of nowhere and bringing the fight to the hot shoe, Sonny Kenshin.
And it'll be interesting. You realize that if Saunders can stay here, and again, I don't want to downplay Saunders' performance here, but Hilly's performance was outstanding. If Hilly's still around and they're thinking of bringing him back in, who knows what can happen?
I'll tell you what, that certainly bodes well for this team going forward this season. 49 Motorsports A team is going to be one to watch as we continue on through a very long season. Another great trip down through the corkscrew there, guys, as they come up on James Brown now.
And guys, we've been talking about Taymans here and his driving ability, and there's no need to go find it back here. But he actually came into on turn 2, came up on George Johnson, and George got a little bit slower than he wanted, than he thought he was going to get, and he did an excellent job of not running into the back of him and saving that car, because that could have been disastrous for Taymans there. That was really, really close.
So that.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so that was slow, not quite stop Johnson racing. Bill?
Gonna play a little trick on the viewers here. Let's look at Todd Honzarenko, our leader in the Mustangs. Drop back one car, and look how close this is. There's Richard Eklund. But wait a minute, folks. He's a lap down, as Honzarenko has lapped Eklund now, so that means there is only one car left on the lead lap, and that's the car of Team Bushfig Racing Red. Currently in that car is Craig Williams. And this is frightening. I think Honzarenko has a 1:17 lead. That's
a good one.
Jaw-dropping, yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I don't know how much I would pay Honzarenko to be my partner, but I could get a win. I haven't had a win in a long time in iRacing. See if this is a 3-driver team. See if there's room for me. I could do a stint on that team, leave the booth, and come back up. You guys wouldn't miss me.
Okay, guys, so just real quickly, I'm just crunching some numbers here, but Taymans looking in pretty good shape, knowing that Kanchin and Saunders still have to take a pit stop. He's only 25 seconds off. He's going to get that spot back, guys. Even though with the little hiccup there getting into the stall and losing maybe just a fraction of time, they do four tires and fuel and do it pretty efficiently. Again, that gap just under what did I say there? Just under 25 seconds now. So Taymans looking in pretty good shape here for a possible victory today.
Yeah, and you know what, Sean? I'm looking back here, and I'm not sure what happened. I don't think we caught it on camera, but Saunders was right with Kenshin there for a bunch, and he just did a 1:45 lap. That's a 9-second slower lap, and he has fallen way off Kenshin. So I'm not sure what happened, but he must have had a moment somewhere.
Had a little spin. I just found it. A little spin. It looks like it's in 6. Got a little loose in 6 going up the hill.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a spot we talked about that's so technical, so tricky. We're looking at it on the replay here.
I hate this corner. This corner.
Yeah, you love it or hate it, but man, it's such a technical spot, and it looks like maybe just a little bit too much of the curve, guys. Got the car out of shape and just hard, so hard to correct there, but really lucky not to get it into that inside barrier.
I've hit the inside wall there. I bet you I've hit the inside wall way more than I do the outside wall there. Yeah.
It was definitely the curve as we watched there just over the roof cam. You could see how upset the car got. Tough break for Saunders. He was really putting the fight to Sonny. But again, it's still going to all come down to a pit stop for those guys. They've still got to bring those machines in.
Well, I mean, and we know that Sonny did stretch, or they did stretch it out in that team, farther than the other people. I mean, are we looking at a possible strategy play here? I mean, I don't do numbers like Bill does numbers, but I mean, he did pit later than the rest of them did.
Let's thank goodness for that. This is where we get into the age-old thing where you start with the same amount of fuel, you need the same amount of fuel no matter when you pit. But honestly, after 2.5 hours, there's a good chance that maybe that philosophy doesn't work anymore. So, yeah, I could see that Sonny running long might be able to have well, obviously he's going to only need, the closer he gets to the end, the less fuel he needs to get to the end. So, yeah, maybe a fast pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the lap times, he's definitely not saving fuel, because he is still putting down blistering lap time, Sonny Kenshin is. So it's not like he's playing a fuel strategy of just trying to stretch it out. But I don't know. I mean, we don't have that much longer in this race. I wish we could see inside of that tank and see how much fuel he's got left.
Now,
Well, if we do, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just going to say, Sonny really probably going to push it at this point as far as he can. And then, like you said, taking that quick pit stop, that might just be the strategy.
I'm going to do a little math here. It's 9 seconds from Ketchen back to Saunders. I'm going to call it 10 seconds. It's all just under 9. And then it's about 16 seconds from Saunders back to Tymans. Taymans. There we go. Third try's the charm. So now I forgot my numbers. Let's see. 16 and 10 is 26 seconds. Oh, I don't know if you can get in and out of Laguna Seca in 26 seconds, even if you were just going in to change a... Yeah, the last pit stop was 28 seconds, and that's just in the box. So, I mean, if you're going in just to change a contact lens, I don't think you can get in and out in time.
Now, if I remember correctly, last time we were on track with these guys, we were playing the same game, wondering if some of these guys were going to stretch things out, and I believe some guys came in with just a few laps left and couldn't stretch it out. So we're probably seeing something similar play out here.
You guys in the Mustangs, if you want to get on screen, if one of you guys could slow down and get us a little bit of a battle. Maybe let me let you give a little guys screen time here to the Mustangs. Todd Honzarenko out in front by 82 seconds. That's a minute and 22 if I do the math right. Drop back one position. Craig Williams running for Team Bushfink Racing Red. He's got about 33 seconds on Richard Eklund for 49 Motorsports, who's got about 31 seconds on Travis Davis for Flying Tortoise Motorsports. Now here's a real battle, if you want to call an 11-second lead a battle. It's about 11 seconds back to Chad Dalton for iRacing Today Motorsports. If he gets much farther back, it'll be iRacing Yesterday. Move down one more spot. We go to 8th position there. Brett Trozine in for Mama Jean Racing, currently running 6th in class, 8th overall, because there's a couple MX-5s ahead of him. Now right behind him, is that a battle for position? It is not. It's several laps down. That's Mika Eschhaus there. And I think that took care of all of the Mustangs. Oh, I didn't do this one. Let's go to 11th overall. Patrick Vieri there, running in the Extreme Motorsports number 1, currently running 11th. I'm done. There is not a battle to be found there.
Well, I will be happy to run down the STs here real quick. Sonny Canchin still your leader. Nicholas Taymans up to 2nd. Saunders in 3rd. Deuce Allen up to 4th. And then sitting there in 5th, George Fike for Phoenix Racing, guys.
Quiet race for George.
Now, did I hear that correctly? Is Taymans has made his way into 2nd in class there? Okay. Saunders has actually come in for that pit stop, which I must have missed. I was looking in the other direction when he came into the pit stop. So,
yeah. So that leaves just Canchin now left to come in of our leaders of that that top group there. Fike's still sitting back there with only one pit stop. Mama Jean Racing, William Wright, only one pit stop, so they still have some work to do.
now Essos is back out in that car, in that Mustang, and if I heard him correctly, it sounded like they completely disconnected the rear suspension when he went over that curbing there. So for them to fix that up and get it back out on track, that's a good job by the mechanics in the shop, I'd say.
Yeah, let me look and see cars that have a chance to pick up.
Oh, James Alex Brown is off the track and with heavy damage.
He put it in the wall hard.
He went over the curb, looked like the thing was going to flip.
Yeah, that car in bad shape right now. We found the replay. Let's catch it here, guys, on the Global Sim Racing channel. You see the after effects there. Here we go. We got a better shot of it. Here's James Alex Brown on screen. It's down through there okay. Oh, and then loses it coming off. Maybe back to the gas a little too quick.
That's
shoves it
hard
right off the
hit.
train. Not much runoff there either, guys, and that's all concrete. That
And there's
takes
another
that car.
car. Michael Key is also off. I'm looking at these two cars. Michael Key for... What am I looking at here? Is that Extreme Motorsports?
Yeah, Extreme Motorsports 3, and he went into the corner, hit the red curbing, and just lost it.
And we're thinking that there's a possible caution here, although Brown's car is still rolling. So maybe they're going to limp those guys back. No, Brown slowed down to let Keys get... Yeah, two cars limped.
Oh!
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Boy, this is really, really scary here.
And
Nobody
like I said,
coming up on him. Nobody coming up on him. He's clear behind.
And that car just looks like, every time he tries to turn it, it looks like it's going to roll over. The suspension is so broken on that thing.
Here we go. Here comes some traffic now.
Caution's
Caution
on the
is
track.
out. Major development in this race with just less than 20 minutes to go now. Oh, boy.
Now, my first question here is, Sonny Kenshin, if he was close on fuel and they're under caution now, what does that mean for the rest of this race?
Boy, I don't know. I think they could probably make it now. But you're going to have Taman starting right there with him, guys, and Taman's got a little bit fresher car to work with on this restart.
If I know Sonny, it's you give me 4 fresh tires and a 10 minutes, and I'll get you the win. I think that's what he's going to do. Give me a shot at it. I don't think Sonny needs to trick his way into this one. We'll see. I think he'll go out and win it like a man.
And update our viewers out there, James Brown has actually made it back down to pit road, amazingly enough, with that car, so he is now off the track safely.
And Lord help the race marshals here, because there are now... You want to hear good news? How about, let's go to the Mustangs. How about Team Bushfink Red? They were a minute and 20 seconds behind the leader. They were the only other car on the lead lap. They're going to get all of that back. I don't think Williams has anything for Hans Renko, but it'll be nice. At least he'll be behind him.
See, that's the thing. They were listening to me say there's no battles. Like, all right, let's tighten this up then and make for an exciting finish to this race. There's not that much left. We got, what, 15 minutes or so, give or take?
Just under 18 minutes now. I'm showing 17:50 left.
Yeah, there you go. That clock that I could have looked at and decided not to, and decided to guess instead for some reason.
It's going to take him a while to reset things, guys. Why don't we take a quick break and come back, and then we'll reset everything for everybody.
I like that idea.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll be right back here on the Global Sim Racing Channel.
Welcome back to the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series at Laguna Seca here. The pace car has picked up the field. We are coming up to the pit road entry, and pits will be open this time. So we are going to see how the strategy plays out. You have not missed a thing, ladies and gentlemen.
First car in is a car lap down, and that's Richard Eklund coming in.
Boy, really, really late call there, guys, on whether or not the pit road was going to be open.
So our questions have been answered, and Sonny Kenshin is coming in for tires and fuel, or at least fuel. We'll see about tires.
Brett Trozine of Mama Jean Racing, the Gin team comes in. Chad Dalton comes in of iRacing Today Motorsports.
Oh, did Kenshin go a little too far forward? Nope. Right there at the line.
Ooh, that must have been close.
Not seeing the car go up on the jack yet, guys. I don't think he's going to take tires. Just fuel. That's it. Kenshin's away.
Oh, Sonny, take rubber. Why? Maybe unless they don't come in quick. Yeah, unless he's worried that the new tires are not gonna be good right away. But I don't know. There's not like he was gonna lose any more positions. He could have had a milkshake and still be in the same place he is right now.
Yeah, that does seem a bit off. I mean,
Sonny knows what he's doing, though. He's it'll be interesting to get an interview here with him. They're still organizing. They're trying to figure out where everybody goes.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we went to break there, Bill, that we don't envy the marshals here trying to get everybody back in position and ready to hit the green flag again. They just extended the caution out to make sure that they get everybody a chance to get back into position.
Yeah, guys.
Here's a real chance for me to really make myself look stupid. But I believe that this series, I believe Sonny is going to get to come up through all those guys that are, well, there's a lot of cars still that are only 2 laps down, so he's not going to get to go past all of those. Yeah, Saunders, I believe they're going to line up, though, all the cars, and I think they're going to do their best to get Team Potato and 49 Motorsports and Asbury Motorsports, all the cars that are 2 laps down, which are only those 3 teams right now. I think they're going to line up nose to tail.
I believe you're right, Bill, and I think that's what they're talking about and kind of trying to figure out right now.
And then they will let all the MX-5s that are ahead of the class leader, that are ahead of Nicholas, all the cars that are ahead of him but trapped behind the pace car, they'll let them go around. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, definitely, Bill. And actually, I'm looking back and looking at Taman's car.
And I think Richard Eklund just blew an engine on the wave around.
Oh dear.
I think he's done.
Yeah, that car is smoking.
I think
And
he missed a
not in a
shift
good way.
on the wave around.
For all the wrong reasons, for sure.
Oh. Yeah, it's just the only reason it's moving forward is gravity. So 49 Motorsports, which was running 5th, 1 lap down, that's good news for drivers like for Mama Jean Racing. That's another spot for them. There's a chance for a top 5 for that team.
I was going to say, I mean, and that car, that 049 car, has been through some issues today.
Yeah.
I mean, between hitting the pit road wall and cars being dropped out of the sky, and like they've had a rough go, and then to be sitting in 5th position was a heck of a recovery. But it looks like that recovery is done.
What a Greek tragedy for that. It's like one thing after the other for that machine. It's done now. The book is closed, I believe. And I think it's a fitting end to blow your engine on the wave around lap.
But
it's almost it's kind of a drop the mic moment, if you will.
Like, you know what? I'm out. Bye. But looking at Taman's car there, Now, unless I missed something, I knew he had some front end damage from when Iannucci was in the car earlier, but the rear end looks all smashed up, and I don't remember him having that damage earlier. That is our class leader in the MXs, and it looks like he stopped short of somebody at some point in time.
Getting news from the captain, Dexter Castro, that 49 machine, there was no mischief. The drivers did all they could, but actually the car just gave up. I think nosing it into the wall and making a run, it said enough of this.
Well, you know what, and Bill, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but a lot of these cars have, some form of damage. And you know what, that was a factor of, earlier damage. So do some of these other cars, now that they've slowed them right down, they're going to be hitting the gas hard to go for this restart. Are we going to see any failures on some of these cars? And you can't even give me the don't say it won't happen, because it just happened.
Guys, they are still sorting things out.
Yeah.
Man, we're going to restart this. And right now, where we're at, we're going to restart with literally about 5 laps to go, I think. Maybe even less than that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not 5 laps, but 5 minutes is what I meant.
We figured it was going to be rough. Let's look at the muscle car class here. Extreme Motorsports, we have Todd Honzarenko out there. There's only 2 cars on this lap. And then they have Craig Williams, who's back a bit now. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Williams up. I thought they liked to do that, to try to separate the lap cars out. Right now, Williams has between him and the leader is Bieri, Davis, Eshouse, George Johnson back out there, Craig Williams, and then you get to Dalton, Trozino. So.
All right, looks like the pace car is pulling into the pit roads. We are going back to green here, guys. So we have Honzarenko is about to get that green flag and get this race back underway, and he hits the gas. There we go. All right, I was hearing that they were almost going to wave it off there, but it looks like they are back to green here, and Honzarenko is trying to get away from that pack of Mustangs behind him, that wounded duck procession there behind him.
I think the real excitement is going to be back in the Miatas there. Sean, what are you looking at?
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. Taman's got quite a jump on that start and breaks away. Going to be really tough for Saunders to catch him.
Now, Ketchen is running in 4th right now.
Yeah, and now Sanders is actually it's kind of weird now, because I'm showing Allen sitting in 4th and Sanders in 2nd. So my timing and scoring must be off right now. But Allen, yes, okay, Allen is a lap down. That's right. That's what I'm not seeing there. The top 3 are on the lead lap. Everybody else behind.
So you got Taymans, and you got Saunders, then you got the lap car of Allen, and then you go way back to Sonny. I think Sonny started well behind those other guys. He had to get around Fike and Wright and Baker.
Yeah, and he's got a long way to go climbing up the hill. Oh, a little bit off in the dirt there for Kanchan. Ooh, side by side on the screw just behind him.
They made it through okay there, but that was a hold your breath moment there for sure. But Kenshin really lost out on that exchange and has lost touch with these leaders.
Yeah, he did not get a great start. Nicholas Taymans did, though, guys. Taymans, again, just showing the power, having this tremendous run today. We keep talking about it from out of nowhere. Team Potato North America having just a tremendous ride today, and Nicholas Taymans been the wheel man to do it for basically the whole second third of this race. He's put on quite a show for us. Not much time left, guys. 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
And looking up front there, looks like Williams is falling back a fair bit reasonably from Honzarenko, and has a lap car between him and a lap car between him and the leader. So that's Travis Davis is there, a lap down to the leader.
Yeah, here's the way this plays out. So you have Honzarenko out there in front. Then you got to go back to second place is Williams. Now, Williams has Davis ahead of him in third. So that's third ahead of second. That's because Davis is a lap down. So all the cars who are a lap down, you go to Davis, you drop back then to Dalton, who's running fourth. Then you drop back. I wish this was a battle, fourth and fifth, Brett Frozine and Dalton, but they're a lap apart, so it's really not a battle. So nothing really going on as cars are separated. Let's go see what the Miatas have going on.
Well, Bill, they're still battling, baby. And now we're down to 3.5 minutes. Taman's, though, able to just continue to do what he's done for most of this race since he got in the car. And Saunders just doesn't seem to be able to have anything for him. And, of course, we talked about, what Deuce has got to do back there to catch him. Or, I'm sorry, Sonny. Sonny just got too much ground to make up and not enough time to get it done. Quite frankly, this is it.
And honestly, folks, there is not a real battle out there other than maybe what Sean was just talking about, the battle for the between Taymans and Saunders.
Yeah, this field is pretty spread out with people quote unquote battling each other, but laps apart.
They're laps apart, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like right now, I think Jackman and Dalton is one of the closest group on in the field, but they're a lap apart, so they're not racing for position. And Dalton, let Jackman around him because there was no reason, in trying to hold him back because he had nothing to gain.
Tell you what, Saunders could, if he could just get a mistake out of our leader, Nicholas Taymans, Saunders has done just an excellent job himself today, and if that's the big thing, and can it happen with just 1:45 left? I don't know, but Taymans still on the power and going to come around for another lap here with 2 to go. That's what I'm showing. 2 laps to go. Nicholas Taymans in control, gentlemen.
As he has been, this entire race, Iannucci did a great first stint and, a little bit of damage on the car, and then Taymans just rode away with it. But, Saunders is one of the only people who actually has his target in sight here. Everybody's just kind of spread out.
Well, it's going to be a good points day for Team Potato North America if they could just hold it together here for just a little bit longer. And the whole 49 Motorsports, Asbury Motorsports rivalry, it rages on. We're going to have those two on the podium also if everything goes according to Hoyle here. I might have dated myself with that one, Bill.
Works for me, buddy.
And also, we've been talking about the top teams here, but Flying Tortoise Motorsports here are going to pull off that podium. They finished 5th in the first race of the season, so they're putting themselves in a great position. And looks like the white flag is out, and we have one more lap to go in this 2.5-hour race. Can you guys believe it's been 2.5 hours already?
They fly by. They always seem to. Taman's going to bring it around one last time. 1 lap to go for the ST class. The debut of the 2016 Mazda. Been a good one. I don't think Saunders is going to catch him, boys.
No, I don't think so, but it's been a good debut, but these guys have certainly not... They're not showroom ready anymore, most of these new 2016 MX-5s. They are battle-worn and tested for sure.
Kind of missed my partner, Richard Losper. I know he's watching this. He's probably could tell us all about Nicholas Taymans. He knows MX-5 drivers like a little girl knows Barbie dolls. He knows every one of them, where they live, where they race, how old they are, their favorite color.
Nicholas, and I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
No, I'm just rambling. I'm just
No.
filling, baby.
Well, I was just going to say Taymans is going to do this with a car that looks like it really earned it too, boys. I mean, let's face it. That thing's a little bit dinged up, but here we go to the finish.
As Honzarenko makes that last turn of this last lap and goes a straight shot up to the start-finish line, the checkered flag is out and waving for Todd Honzarenko for the win in his class. Going back to Taymans now, he has one more corner. He that second to last corner there, he went through there pretty sideways, but he's got one more corner to make it as he will win the MX-5 class, barring any cars dropping out of the sky. Checkered flag is in sight with that banged up Mazda, and he takes the win in the MX-5 class.
Nicholas Taymans and Giuseppe Anucci. Nice job from them.
Saunders going to take second, and Sonny Kanchik going to bring the Asbury Motorsports number 74 home in third. That was a great race, guys. What a blast.
You know, it had so much intrigue in the middle section there where we had some of the top runners excuse me, having issues, and we never knew how this was going to play out because some of the guys were really strong at the beginning, had some issues. You know, there was some self spins. We didn't see a lot of car contact other than that, you know, first lap, first turn incident that really killed. Was it King in the car at that time?
Kevin Ford, I believe, was in that one. Yeah,
that's right, Ford. Yeah, you know, and they were definitely expected to be a strong runner, and you know, obviously fell back a little bit, and you know, ended their day prematurely because of some of that damage. So you know, we had comers and goers all race long, which is what you want in a race like this. After 2.5 hours, we had a couple guys show their strength at the end, and we had Honzarenko and Taymans win this race for their respective classes. Great race by these guys. I hope you guys had a great old time with this race tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick step away from the microphones while these guys get out of their cars and get ready for some interviews. So we'll be back momentarily with our driver interviews, and take a look on the screen while we're at break there, and we might show you some upcoming races you can check out here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, where we had, I don't know about you, Bill, but it kind of looked like a little bit of bumper cars out there, except for they weren't bumping into each other. They were just bumping into walls, and it looked like they had a lot of trouble getting around this dusty, slick course, but we had quite a race with, like I mentioned, comers and goers and people. We thought were going to be strong, having issues early on, and I think this is going to really shake up the points. But it was definitely an exciting race from start to finish, and not as close to a finish as we had last time at Daytona, but thrilling nonetheless. Bill.
Yeah, I think determination might be the word that I would use. There are a lot of drivers that just stayed out there and picked up a lot of positions from attrition. We saw cars blow up on the pace lap. We saw cars going left and right. So, and then one yellow flag at the end to make it interesting. So it was a pretty good race. Let's run down the standings.
Well, we had in first position, we had Extreme Motorsports 2 finished in first position in that Ford Mustang. Second position was Team Bushfink Racing Red. Third position was Flying Tortoise Motorsports. Good run by those guys. In third position, iRacing Today Motorsports with, and I got to say it, Mr. Chad Dalton behind the wheel, finishing in fourth position. Not a bad run for his second race in. Mama Jean Racing, great finish by them with a top 5. Now we move into our MX5s. We had Team Potato North America finishing in 6th position. 49 Motorsports A finishing in 7th. Osprey Motorsports number 74 finishing in 8th position. 49 Motorsports C finishing in 9th. And finishing out the top 10, we had Phoenix Racing finishing in 10th position.
Rolling 11th was Extreme Motorsports 1. Mama Jean Racing, the Vermouth team, going to finish, I think, 6th in class there, 12th overall. Team Potato, followed by the 14th spot, Heat and Bake Racing. 15th was Extreme Motorsports 3. All Ribbons and Curls was the 49 Motorsports B in 16th. Whole World Endurance, 17th spot for them. Team Bushfink Racing, the Pretty Blue, was 18th. Asbury Motorsports number 426 takes a big hit in the points. Down there next to last and rounding out the field. God, I love this team. Slow Johnson Racing brings it home in 20th. Congratulations for them for putting in every mile that they could.
Yeah, they did not give up for sure, even though they spent an extended period of time in the pits. But you know what? He came here to race and he decided, I'm going to finish this thing on the track rather than on the pit wall. We have some of our drivers starting to come in here. Bill, I think you've caught up with Jeff Jacobs.
Jeff Jacobs of the winning team here, Extreme Motorsports 2. Jeff, congratulations. You did your job. You took that baby out, kept it clean, and then turned it over to the big guy.
Yeah, hey, it was nice to have Todd back again this week. Did a great job, and he he came into the session to do some of the practice and told me, hey, I'm not at home. I'm over at Crimson Simulation in Norwalk, Connecticut, trying out a full motion simulator. So he did the race today, not even on his usual rig. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch him. He had a ways to go, but boy, he was the class of the field. Hey, what's the strategy with tires for those Mustangs? Is it 4 every time, or it doesn't look like they really wear that much? How do they play?
We did take 4 on both of the stops here. Certain tracks you can maybe save some time, just take right sides or left sides depending on the track orientation. But for the most part, because we have to take so much fuel, you might as well take the tires.
Well, congratulations. Boy, this is going to help you in the points. That you had to solo it last race, so you took a little hit in the points, but luckily the points counting, the way they count the points, didn't hurt you quite so much. You got 50% of what you would have done. A win today, that's going to help not only the car championship, but certainly that driver championship.
Yeah, I think this is shaping up to be a really exciting season. Of course, it's early, so plenty of time for teams to recover from some bad luck this week, and looking forward to the next few weeks as they come along.
And since you soloed that first race, really, you got the lead on your partner. So if you guys can take it home from here, you might claim that driver championship all to yourself.
Well, we have a pretty interesting team here, and an unfortunate incident there on lap one, but really got to give some credit to Patrick Bieri, too. I think he'll be one to watch for. He was responsible for the setups on both of the Extreme Mustangs and really worked well.
And a nod for them also. They did not give out. They got that car repaired and brought it back out. So a pretty good day all around there for Extreme Motorsports 2. Congratulations, Jeff, on your win, and good luck in about a month.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Jeff Jacobs, part of Extreme Motorsports 2, teamed with Todd Honzarenko, your winner of this race. Trevor, who you got?
Well, I'm looking around the paddock here, and looks like we might have Justin Hilly here. Waiting for him to step up into the booth. There we go. Justin, it was an interesting race out there. Can you tell us just I guess start us off. How did that race feel for you out there today?
It felt great, actually. I was really happy with my teammate Andre. I started the race, and I think I finally got a handle with the new car. I was running pretty consistent, fast laps, and got a pretty good gap. I think probably 10 seconds back to Tomas before the pit stop. And then when Andre got in, he took over. And honestly, I never thought it would be so exciting to watch iRacing in blimp mode for an hour and 20 minutes, but it was good fun to watch.
Well, I mean, that second position is was a team effort, like you said. I mean, you got him started, and he was just in a different class out there. Andre Saunders was just racing out there pretty good. This is your guys' first shot at this 2016 model. How'd you find the new car?
Good. I think I finally got the hang of it. Like I said, setup's huge. In these weather conditions, the tires didn't seem to degrade at all. So I was really enjoying it. I mean, when you finally get the handle of what it's supposed to do and how to do it, it's a lot of fun.
Right on. Well, congratulations on such a strong finish there. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go here?
I want to thank Andre, teammate, for a good drive. I want to thank John Allen for putting the team together, and of course, I want to thank you guys for such a good event and good coverage and everything. It's good fun.
Awesome. Well, that was your second place in class finisher, Justin Hilly, who we decided to actually start saying his name right about halfway through the race. So apologies to you there, Justin, but we got it right eventually. So I believe that Bill has caught up with.
I got Team Butch Fink Red. I got both of them here with Craig Parks and a pair of Craigs. It's Craig's times two here. Parks and Williams. You guys got a copy?
Hello.
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Hey, let's start with Craig Williams. I think we'll start with Williams first. I think you opened the race. Am I right there, Mr. Williams? You took the car out first?
Yeah, I qualified the car because my teammate was in another race. So I took the reins this time, as he did it last time. I thought we better share. So I did the first stint and the last one.
You had it up front there early, if I can read my scribbling here with notes, and then you fell back a little bit. But you pretty much stayed out of trouble most of the way.
Yeah, I knew I don't have the pace in this car, but I don't hide the fact I'm not as quick as everyone else. But if I can keep it consistent, all of my laps were within half a second when I was on the track. I knew if I just didn't crash or make a mistake, we'd come out in the top 5.
Yeah. And then your partner, Mr. Parks, you did a nice job in the middle there, kept it out of trouble. Anything exciting happened during that stint?
To be honest with you, it was a really tricky stint. I did a endurance race just before, and I got to the track pretty late. So it was quite a transition coming from a McLaren GT3 car and hopping straight into the Mustang with zero practice. So thanks to Craig for sorting the setup out, and he sort of like guided me through and gave me a bit of insight to how the car was handling. So I just tried to keep it consistent and try and keep it on track and see where we're at the end.
We saw a lot of drivers have trouble, especially in the Mustang, at the bottom of the corkscrew, the right-hand section of the corkscrew. Do you guys have any idea? Was it tricky for you, or was what you expected, or was there some reason that it took out probably 3 cars?
With the Mustang, it's the weight transfer. Coming down a gradient like that, it can catch you off guard, and it's sometimes I think it's the same for Craig. I'm not sure for the other drivers, but it's sort of like catch you off guard and sometimes be a little inconsistent how it shifts the weight about. Maybe it's the way we set the car up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig.
Yeah, I found if you hit the curb at the bottom the wrong way, the rear wheels would just spin like James, like happened to James. And as soon as the rear wheels spin, if you don't instantly lift off, you're going in the wall. It happened 3 or 4 times, but I was mostly off throttle at the bottom of the hill anyway, just because I didn't want it to happen. Like I said, I knew I wasn't on pace, so there was no real need to just thrash it round for an hour and a half.
So are you guys friends? It sounds like you might be from the same part of the globe. Am I right about this?
Yeah, we're from the same country. We live about 3 hours apart. We've met a couple of times in real life. Known each other for probably nearly 2 years now. We do quite a lot of endurance races together. Yeah, chalk
England?
and cheese, but we go well together.
Yeah,
we're both from England. Yeah.
Well, what's your plan for the? Are you guys full time? Do you plan to make a run of this? Because certainly second place will help in the point standings for that car. Did you race the? How'd you do in the opening event at Daytona?
We finished P4.
Okay,
I think, but with Jeff drove on his own, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah. So that should.
We were finished in the team's points in 3rd. Obviously, drove together here. Phillip Island. Craig's going to the WEC at Silverstone. So I need to find a teammate for that.
Absolutely. You want to get full points for this because you got a shot at that car championship. Which, let me ask you, I'll ask the same question I've been asking all day. If you had your choice of the driver championship or the team championship, which would you guys rather have?
Teams.
Team, straight away, yeah. Team.
It is definitely. It really makes this series special. Hey, congratulations to Red. Why are you guys in the red car? You like red better than blue? The wives like it, or what's the story?
It's my missus' favorite color.
Okay. And I'm just easy.
You're just easy. Okay. All right. Congratulations, guys, to a nice second place finish, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys.
Craig Parks and Craig Williams, the 2 drivers for Team Bushfink Red. Anybody else we got today, Trevor?
Well, I think we're going to bring down Dexter Castro and Richard Eklund for a quick minute to talk to 49 Motorsports B here to talk just a little bit about their interesting race. And looks like we have both Dexter and Richard here. Guys, you didn't have the finish to back it up, but you guys had the most interesting race out there from all of the incidents that happened. What was it like out there?
Starting out was pretty okay. I'm a flight instructor now, so I can't get time off like I used to be able to. So I missed the MX5 race earlier today with tidal influence. Dexter messaged me and asked if I could come to CESCS the other day, and I was able to make it, so I did this. So I never drive the Mustang, so it was fun driving it at first. But yeah, we ran into some trouble.
Yeah, we actually commented on that. We're used to seeing you in the quicker car, and you were handling that tank around there. You looked like you were doing pretty good, but between some pit road entry issues and Richard, I gotta ask you. We'll get to Dexter in a minute here, but when you went through the corkscrew and all of a sudden there was a car that appeared in the middle of your car, what exactly happened there?
That was pretty sweet, huh? Yeah, I used to drive this car a long time ago, like when I first was on iRacing, so I have a little bit of experience, but it's probably been like a year since I've driven it. But yeah, coming up the hill in the corkscrew, whoever was in front of me was like a second and a half ahead, and they just disappeared. They were gone. And normally when they disappear for more than like a second, I figure they're not coming back. So I just disregarded it, and then went and drove to the corkscrew like I normally do, and then right at the top of the hill as I was cresting, all of a sudden there was a car in front of me. Or inside of me, rather. I couldn't see where I was going. That's not ideal. So I don't know what happened, if I went into the dirt or hit the curb or what happened, but it definitely startled me. and ended up spinning into the wall as a result of that. So that was interesting for sure.
Yeah, we kind of wondered if it was it was the contact or if it just scared the poop out of you and sent you into the wall there. All of a sudden, having that car reappear.
Yeah, I don't think we actually got any contact 'cause I was literally inside of him. Like I could see the driver of his car inside of my car, so that was kind of cool. But no, I don't think we had contact. I just couldn't see where I was going. I didn't like knee jerk and stab the throttle or anything. I just literally couldn't see anything, so I think I went off the track, or I really don't know what happened, to be honest. It was just weird.
Trevor, let's ask Dexter why he hit the wall at pit entry.
You see, I don't have nearly as nice excuses as
Yeah,
Richard.
you didn't have a car show up or
Yeah,
anything like that.
I wasn't blind. But yeah, that was just a case of probably forgetting how much the car weighed, and it's definitely not an easy pit entry. Kind of, and I was also explaining the strategy because at the time it was really down to just us and Todd, and if we had gotten Richard back in the car, it would have actually cost us a bit of time on the driver's swap. So I was just explaining that I was going to stay in the car and see if I could defend against Todd, but once I put it in the wall and Todd was going to be in front of us anyway, then it was better to have Richard in. But really, you know, I should have been much faster. I didn't put nearly enough practice time. I have no idea how Richard just showed up and was on pace like he did, but I should have had another half second of pace, and it shouldn't have even been a matter. You know, it should have been too big of a gap for Todd to make up. I mean, I had 25 seconds. It should have been no problem.
And then before we go, Trevor, I'll just step in. Richard, how exactly do you blow an engine on a pace lap, on a wave around?
Well, after you smash your nose straight into a concrete wall, I think you do some damage to the internals of the engine. So I didn't miss a shift or anything. I was literally just coming down the corkscrew and it exploded. So it wasn't driver error.
Just gave up on you. Okay. Well, thanks, boys, for putting in the effort there. Not your best day, but 49 Motorsports will be back. They're always competitive. So thanks a lot for coming in to talk to us.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Well, thanks to all the drivers who stopped by to give us some interviews at the end of this race here. We've done some unofficial math here, and obviously this is very unofficial, but it looks like the GS point standings after this race has a three-way tie in first between Bushvink Blue, Bushvink Red, and Extreme Motorsports. So in the number 38 car. So the points have definitely been shaken up after this race, which is great to see. And we're going to, lead to some excitement heading to Phillip Island. But with all of that being said, it's time for us to head off into that good night, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast, which will be coming up on your screen so you can view it at your leisure, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, additional thanks to our musical contributors. That's not the Canadian way to say the contributors. Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can also find at the websites that are listed right there on your screen. Thanks to the awesome team we had today. We had Sean, Bill, Amjad, and Dougie up here, and it was an awesome team for sure. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at our website, which is www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. They're also on Twitter over at GSR Channel. And Facebook, of course, if you want to go that route, at Global Sim Racing Channel. Our next race with these fine drivers is going to be April 16th at 6:05 Eastern Time when these drivers head overseas. They've done coast to coast in North America. Now they're going to head over to Australia for the Phillip Island race. We also have some upcoming races for other series on the screen, so make sure to check those out. We have a very busy schedule here at Global Sim Racing Channel. So mark them down on your calendar so you make sure you don't miss them. But until next time, remember the race is rarely won in the first turn, but it's often lost there. So race clean, race hard, and I'll see you out there on the track.